we good? Good, good, good. I sound sick. I'm a little stuffed up. Yeah, I am a little bit stuffed up. Static, still. Good, good, good. There is an issue with TikTok where like you have to go out and then back in if you're getting that feedback. I get it too in my headphones. I don't know what it is. I've had new cords, I've had new mics, everything. We've tried it all. It's got to be a TikTok issue. It couldn't possibly be me. I would never make a mistake. I have gum in my mouth today. I apologize. I'm trying to figure out how to stop getting cotton mouth. So I apologize. If it gets weird, if you guys can hear me chewing, just let me know. I'll stop. Dumb Trump 2024. Felice will not be here again today. This will be back-to-back days without the host, which is terrible for you guys. And have you been drinking water? What is this? What, you guys all just like, did Mr. Jones send all of you? Yeah, I have been. I have been drinking water. Problem is, I take Adderall, and it makes me have a dry mouth. So I sip the whole time. And yesterday, I did all 3.5 hours by myself. Then I was on the phone. Then I made some content this morning. And so I just, things are drying up around here. That's what happens. Try Listerine. Thank you, doctor. Does Listerine make your mouth less dry? I use some all-natural or more natural mouthwash. I don't know what it is. We'll see about today. We'll see if today's as crazy as yesterday. Oh, millied up. Oh, I can't talk with the gum in my mouth. That's not going to work. Anyways, some beta mouth. That's right. Beta mouthwash. That's all I'm using. Try Rico worked for Trump. Yeah, Rico's working really well for Trump. Yesterday was a trip. I'd imagine today is going to be similar. I do think that every once in a while it's nice to just get people coming up here screaming at me. I think that's kind of fun. No news, all yelling. Yeah, that's what yesterday was. That's one of my trolls. I forgot about that. Money Steve's one of the trolls. Try smoking less of the devil's lettuce. Pass on that one. That's going to be a hard pass for me. All right, let me jump into some actual news stuff. The first one didn't even tell us you were live. I thought I'm here. I'm live. Askew Dragonfly. Hello, Dinosaur. Biotine is coming out with an all. We have really opened up some stuff 2 days in a row. God, I hate all of you. All right, here's the first story I wanted to cover because I don't really think it's. I honestly don't think it's that much of a story, but there's two stories that are going around right-wing media. I don't know if they've got to you guys, but I'm just going to cover them try and cover them in the most honest way that I possibly can. The first one is the story of at the end of our show yesterday. I got a message. I know Tommy put out a video, and it was a good video. He was wrong, but it was a good. I understood what he was saying, but there was a lot of speculation when you had subpoenas coming out through Congress that everybody was guessing what it was going to be. It turns out we've got a DOJ probe into Cori Bush's campaign use of security funds. Now here is Cori Bush, one response explaining, it's hard to pick the headlines, but explaining kind of her version of what's going on.
So what was happening, there were a lot of issues with us retaining just good staff. What was happening, we had, we couldn't pay the big costs for security like some of my colleagues are able to do. Yeah. And so we went with what we could afford. It worked out for a while, but then we started having call-offs, people just not showing up to work, people sleeping on the job. Yeah. And so it was very hard for me to have security when it was unreliable. And so what was happening was Courtney would fill in. He would volunteer. And sometimes he would even when he was there and they were working, he would say, hey, you should be standing over here. Right. Hey, you should be doing that. And so he was volunteering a lot of his time. Mm-hmm. And then we had someone who was kind of leading the group, mm-hmm. Leading the team who could no longer do it. One day just called and said, I won't be back for 3 months. Right. It left me in a position. There was no way I could manage a security team plus right. the work that I was doing. And so he was able to pick up that slack. So
Courtney is Cori Bush's husband. The payments, it looks like, were, I think it was like 20, I want to say it was $2,500 a month, was going to him. He is not licensed to be a security detail where they live. I can't remember exactly where they live, but he's not licensed for that. They're looking at this like it's nepotism, right? They're saying that or that she's using congressional funds just to enrich her husband. Now, it's not lost on me that two prominent black women are the targets of these types of accusations. When you have Cori Bush and you have Fani Willis in Georgia, it may not come as a big surprise. I can pull up this tweet right here. Where was that? Let me actually pull it up here. Sorry. Here we go. In 2022, the New York Times reported that Marjorie Taylor Greene's campaign spent nearly $183,000 on security in 2022. There was no Department of Justice investigation. There was no outcry. There was maybe some mockery. I'm guessing there was a lot of mockery there. But she paid a private security company $183,000, the same private security company that protected Kyle Rittenhouse. And so I'm trying to look at this. I'm trying to look at it fairly. And I think that as a lot of stories like this go, the best thing to do is wait. The Young Turks did their best to try and be fair. Here's Cenk and Anna Kasparian discussing their thoughts on it yesterday.
In terms of the need for security, I get it. You know, look, we get crazy threats, etc., all the time. She's a member of Congress. She wants to feel safer. Okay. She's one of the leaders of the defund the police movement. Mm-hmm. Is there a little bit of irony there?
Yes.
Yes. So now, look, guys, you could say...
I don't understand that. I don't understand how there's irony there as a defund the police advocate. Because what Cori Bush isn't doing and what defund the police advocates aren't doing is saying that, like, we should not have security, that we should not have people to protect us. They're saying that the way that the police are established as they they're propped up and infiltrated by white supremacy, and that the system itself is bastardized, that they need to fix it. And so I disagree with Cenk there. I don't really think that to me, that doesn't come off as hypocritical.
Full-blown irony, or you could say half irony, because
or
yes,
ironic.
but she's worried that the police are abusing the citizens, and in her case, clearly she's hiring security to protect her. And if the cops acted like that, maybe she might be in favor of them.
Yeah.
But is there a sense of irony here? No protection for you, but protection for me? A little bit.
No, but
I'll come back to the others, but go ahead.
But I think it's really important to be fair to her, because while she is an advocate for defunding the police, she never said that she was against hiring private security. So in a situation in which you can't rely on police, just hire private security. It only costs hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right, but you could just give it to your husband.
That's true.
Okay.
You do.
I thought this was like one of the things that I've noticed about the Young Turks, and you see this like as people become more established, when they become more comfortable with their role, you start to see the Young Turks. They're battling for an audience with Sam Cedar, with David Pakman, with Destiny, with Vosh, and they need to play to a more moderate audience. And I think that this is an attempt by the Young Turks to actually just go the moderate route. Right? They're not really saying anything. They're not taking a position one way or the other here. They're just trying to call out the hypocrisy. Like, here's the part I don't get. Like, if it's hundreds of thousands of dollars for them to protect themselves, well, that's the cost of protecting yourself. Right? This is Cori Bush. This is a black woman in Congress who is outspoken on political issues, and her opponents are the people that oppose her most loudly are prone to violence. They are prone to threats. Many of them don't like her just because of the color of her skin. I don't understand this attempt by TYT to paint Cori Bush is like some elitist, and because she's paying hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, here the probe is really about this. The probe is not that she has private security. The probe, even though Republicans are going to talk nonstop about the fact that she hired her husband, the probe isn't really about that either. The probe is about whether or not she used congressional funds. The only way this is illegal is if she used congressional funds, and that's what we have to get to the bottom of. I just want to give, there's nothing from the DOJ yet, but here's Cori Bush's explanation as to where the funds came from.
My campaign and my position.
Whoops, almost there. Let me go back. Sorry.
My campaign and my position to the highest levels of integrity. I also believe in transparency, which is why I can confirm that the Department of Justice is reviewing my campaign spending on security services. We are fully cooperating with this investigation, and I would like to take this opportunity to outline the facts and the truth. Since before I was sworn into office, I have endured relentless threats to my physical safety and life. As a rank and file member of Congress, I am not entitled to personal protection by the House, and instead have used campaign funds as permissible to retain security services. I have not used any federal tax dollars for personal security services. Any reporting that I have used funds for personal security is simply false. In recent months, right-wing organizations have lodged baseless complaints against me.
All right, so this is going to be, it'll be interesting. I understand, I didn't find the source. I've been told by a few people that she cleared ethics on this. That's still, like, the ethics that's Congressional Ethics Committee. That's not going to have anything to do with the DOJ investigation here. But it's just fodder. It's fodder for Republicans. It's something that they get to point at. It's like the lowest level of hypocrisy. Like, I guess if you have a problem with this, that's fine. I guess if you want to look at her hiring her husband as sketchy, that's fine. But at the end of the day, is this really a big story? Is that that's really what we're worried about? Is this story from Cori Bush hiring security and hiring her husband, who, look, she's safe, right? Like, it's happening. He's doing his job. She hasn't been harmed. Do we now, like, you can't have nepotism? You can't hire people close to you. You can't hire people that you trust. You can't hire your family. Like, how many people in Congress have members of their family on staff? In Congress, like, you hire people, like, a lot of times you'll hire somebody else's family, right? In order to not look like you're giving your kid, like, private favors or personal favors. So you'll have, like, let's say Lindsey Graham might have Mitch McConnell's kids or Mitch McConnell's grandkids working on his staff. This happens all the time, but it's to me it comes off as telling that when an investigation like this drops, and it happens to be Cori Bush, who is polarizing not only because of her stances. She does have more extreme stances on the police, but also because she's a member of the squad. She's a black woman in Congress, and everybody can't wait to tear her down. So that's what I'm going to cover on the story. We'll see what happens. The DOJ obviously is going to investigate it. To me, I mean, if she's found guilty, she should probably lose her seat or pay the money back. I don't know, but I don't really care a great deal about that. It just seems to be the story of the day. For those who are just joining, Felice is not here today. She's just taking care of some family issues, and she will be back when she's back. I'm not sure when that's going to be. Maybe tomorrow and maybe next week. I don't imagine it'll be much longer. If you're a Republican and you're in the comments and you want to tell me that you're not a weak man for voting Republican, let me know. I think that it is my position that you are unable to vote Republican without being a weak man. If you have courage, if you have understanding, if you have compassion, if you are educated, you cannot vote Republican. Not this version of Republicans, at least. You can't vote for them. So Bang bang Niner gang, faithful to the Bay, baby. I love that. Niners by a million. Look, we all love Taylor Swift, but I'm not rooting for Taylor Swift this weekend. Any other questions? Did I miss any other questions while I was going through there? Go Chiefs. Shut up, OG Punk. Everybody who likes the Chiefs can go. I hope you stub your toe. I'm sorry for being upset about that. Yesterday was an interesting day. You had the impeachment hearings for Mayorkas, and they were exactly what you would expect out of Republicans. Republicans essentially have said like they're not even accusing him of real crimes, right? Like and Dan Goldman's going to cover this. I've got some clips here for you, but it's a sham impeachment hearing. They're not serious about it. And when I say sham, I don't mean like they don't have criticisms of Mayorkas. There's plenty of, like, you can criticize Mayorkas, and I think a lot of the criticisms from Republicans are pretty unfair. But like when you show up for an impeachment hearing and nobody can tell you what crime Mayorkas has committed, it's a real problem. But here's Dan Goldman just doing a great breakdown.
Is an impeachment process that you are moving forward because you claim that Secretary Mayorkas, who's obviously working under the direction of President Biden, is failing to secure the border. The irony of the fact that Secretary Mayorkas has spent the last 2 months plus with a bipartisan group of senators negotiating legislation that would address the problems at the border should not be lost on anyone. You are sitting here right now trying to impeach a Secretary of Homeland Security for neglecting his duties literally while he is trying to perform his duties and negotiate legislation. Now, the real reason we are here, as we all know, is because Donald Trump wants to run on immigration as his number one issue in the November 2024 election. And you don't have to take my word for it, because he said it himself. And last week, numerous Republicans echoed his call. Why would we actually solve the problems at the border when it is such a good political message to use for the election? And Leader McConnell even reiterated in a closed-door meeting of the Republican members of the Senate that we're in a quandary, he said, because our candidate wants to run on immigration, and we don't want to get in the way of our candidate. Now, I know this weekend I saw Chairman McCall on TV and others, and you're changing your tune now because you said the quiet part out loud that this is all about politics. And so now it's, oh no, the president can do it without legislation.
Yeah, like it's not really an argument anymore. Like even the Republicans are acknowledging, at least the honest ones, they're acknowledging that the real problem with the border right now, the real problem in getting legislation passed at the border is Donald Trump. He is the one person standing in the way of us doing something about our border. And we can go over the numbers again, but like the what's being proposed, what's been agreed to by the Senate and what the House is going to reject is a solution that is far better than what we have right now. Far better. Republicans keep saying like Biden has this authority, like we don't need to pass legislation, we just need to obey the laws that we currently have, like we just need to enforce the laws. Well, by every measure, Joe Biden is enforcing the laws better than Donald Trump did. He's deporting more people, he's deporting a higher percentage of people, but the truth of the matter is like we just don't have the resources at the border to take care of this. And I would ask to the Republicans, like, do you care? I don't get it. I don't understand any of you. I don't understand a goddamn one of you. You come on here every fucking day. You're in the comments every fucking day saying the same dumb shit. You've been saying open borders, open borders, open borders. Well, look, first of all, they're not open. Second of all, make an argument. Make a goddamn argument that it's not your party now that is doing nothing about the border. It's you. You. You're the problem, it's you. Like, what's the argument here? All right. I apologize in advance. What's up, dude?
Howdy.
Hey.
Hey, I have a question for you, and then I'll drop. I have
Yeah.
shit, but I want to throw this at you and see what you think. So apparently the amended immigration bill makes it so that if an individual comes across the border, they will be detained, essentially imprisoned, right? So they'll have to stay there because they're an individual. What do you think about that? You know, what it will do with the cartel? Because now no one that comes over here will want to be an individual because they're going to get detained until they're processed through, until it's approved, right? So that's going to make the cartel do more. Hey, here's a little kid to take with you, you know? So it seems to me it would just create a huge problem, and the cartel would be.
Wait, it
would be
like
advantageous monetarily for this immigration bill to go through for the cartel.
Yeah, this is the thing. I feel like no matter what, you guys are going to find a way to say like the immigration bill is wrong, and it all is just in deference to Donald Trump. Like, I agree with you that like if this is the case, like that an individual, that's somebody that doesn't have a family, is going to be detained, that it could cause some people to like bring a child, but like that's not going to be the overwhelming amount of people. It's not like you'd have to show me evidence that that's really what the cartel is doing. That narrative is mostly driven by just that narratives. That narrative has been driven when people started talking about the cages, and instead of acknowledging that what was happening at the border was cruel and how they were separating families, Republicans didn't want to admit that was cruel. So they're like, oh, well, we don't even know if they're real families. It's the cartel. They're just putting people together to fake families. The problem with the entire Republican narrative on the border is that like you will take a story or a one-off instance and you'll apply that to everybody and pretend that's the real issue. My problem with Republicans is you guys don't have any solutions, and you don't seem to want this to be fixed. No matter what comes forward, you guys complain about it. No matter what. It seems like you just like having the border. It's like the one thing you guys have left that you can justifiably complain about, because everything else about your former president and your party is dog shit. So like you have this one thing to complain about, and if it goes away, what are you guys going to complain about after that?
We'll find something.
I know you will. I know you will.
No, I just think that, you know, the whole thing is neither side's going to be happy no matter what with whatever they quote unquote agree on.
Yeah, but one side's doing something. That's the difference. Like the Republicans are an enemy to this country right now. They're an enemy to you. They're an enemy to myself. They're an enemy to the asylum seekers. They're an enemy to democracy. They're an enemy to the Constitution. And they're doing it openly and blatantly. And you guys still show up every day and vote for these idiots.
Well, whether or not it's true that Trump called the speaker and said, don't do anything until it's perfect.
That's not what, no, what he said is don't do anything till I'm president.
No, he said no, make sure it's perfect.
Yeah, and then he is like there's video of him saying like, we don't need any new legislation. We just need me.
Whoever in the comments said that I was dating a high schooler in my 30s, go fuck yourself.
Ignore
she
that.
was 21 and we were in college. So anyway,
I don't care about your personal life that much. Yeah, dude, I don't know what to tell you. Like, Donald Trump is single-handedly holding up any efforts that we want to make the border better. Mayorkas is sitting in the Senate day after day after day, negotiating with Republicans and Democrats, and these traitorous scumbags in the House. Instead of doing a goddamn thing, they're bringing in Mayorkas every day to try and impeach him. And they can't even tell us what they're impeaching him for. They can't even come up with a good argument for what they're doing. That dude's working his ass off. Like, he doesn't get to write legislation. He doesn't get to change the laws. He was dealt a hand, and he's doing what he can with what he's been dealt. And now you have Republican morons like, we're going to impeach you. Why? Because we need Donald Trump to be able to continue to run on this. Because it's the only thing, it's the last hope to get Donald Trump in office.
When you say what he's been dealt, it's our view on the right side that this was created by Biden, by campaigning.
That's because you're stupid. You know that's not true. You know that's not true, Guerrilla
Let
Radio.
me finish.
But you know that's not true. It's not your view. That's
it is my view. It is my
your view that that Joe Biden caused this.
Yeah, so he campaigned on not deporting people for 100 days. That's going to create a huge influx of people that's going to come here. Then he got rid of 64 orders that deal with the border, right? So you
specifically what orders? You guys can all name what the orders did. Tell me what his orders did that made the situation at the border worse.
No, I think there were 64 orders that Trump had in place.
Yeah, what did they do by him undoing them? What did it do to make the border worse? Tell me.
Well, you see that the border is worse, right?
No, it's not. No, that's not. That's like me saying every time I wear a purple sweatshirt, it rains. My purple sweatshirt didn't cause it to rain. It just happened. Like, you can't do correlation for everything. There has to be causation. If you are going to blame Joe Biden, you can't just say, he did this and then this happened. You have to show me what he did that caused the border crisis.
Okay, when Trump was president, we didn't have 12,000 asylees a day, which 85% of are not approved.
Border crossings in 2019 went up 500%. 500%. And that was after destabilizing both Cuba and Venezuela. And some people started coming early, but things have gotten worse in Cuba and Venezuela. So people continue to come. There are other countries around the world that have been destabilized coming out of COVID. Like, it's unbelievable what you guys will blame on Joe Biden, and you'll ignore a worldwide pandemic and our actions across the world that destabilize other countries. Again, like, why don't you care about what actually happened, Guerrilla Radio?
Why don't you care that he made us less secure?
You can't. He did it. But then why is he putting? Wait, Guerrilla Radio. Is he deporting a bigger? Is he deporting a higher percentage of people than Donald Trump?
I don't know.
Yes, Donald Trump was deporting about 46%, and Joe Biden's at 54%.
That's not the measure.
So he's doing a better job than Donald Trump.
So you're saying that's the measure? The amount of deportations is the measure, and he's just wait. No, wait. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, percentage-wise, he's doing better. And your argument is that because he undid what Trump had put in place, that things got worse. But you can't point to a single thing that he undid that caused the border crisis. I'm asking you to substantiate your argument and not be lazy with it and just say, like, he undid something Trump did and then the border got worse, so that must have been what happened. Like, take a little time, do a little research, and tell me, like, what specifically did he undo that caused the crisis at the border? Yeah, I suppose that is a little lazy on my part. I'm going off what Speaker Johnson said when he said that we counted 64 orders that he got rid of that have to do with
I read through those this morning, by the way. Some of them, like the emergency order to build the wall, was ruled unconstitutional. There was there was no crisis at the time either, right? Like, so you can't when we're down to virtually zero because of COVID, we were virtually at zero. You can't claim that that's an emergency and use an emergency order to build the wall. It wasn't an emergency.
Okay. You also can't claim that it's bipartisan when it's dead on arrival. I hear that.
It's bipartisan in the Senate.
Yeah, but it's not. It's dead on arrival. It's not going to go through. Those numbers aren't agreed upon with the House.
Because the House is openly admitting that what they don't want to do is give Joe Biden a win. I sat on Andy Biggs' call the other day. You know what he said? He said that the solution to this is to get Donald Trump in office. That's what he said. He said, we don't need a border bill. We don't need a border bill. He was one of the co-sponsors of HR 2, and now he's saying we don't need a border bill. Why do you think Andy Biggs went from co-sponsoring HR 2 and advocating for HR 2 every day on Twitter, every single day on Twitter, and now, after Donald Trump came out and said what he said, Andy Biggs is like, oh yeah, we don't need a border bill.
Yeah,
Why do you think? What's the answer to that, Gorilla? You know the answer. What's the answer to that?
Look,
Why did Andy Biggs go from pushing HR 2 to saying we don't need a border bill? What's the real answer?
I'm not obtuse enough to not say that politics don't play a role in this.
What's the answer, though?
Politics play a role in everything.
What's the answer? What's the answer to why Andy Biggs changed his mind?
Fuck, who knows, man?
No, what's the answer?
I'm not Andy Biggs.
He's Donald Trump's lackey. Donald Trump makes a statement and Andy Biggs completely reverses course. He goes from we need a bill, we need it passed now, to we just need Donald Trump.
Yeah, it's
You think Donald Trump would just fix it? What would Donald Trump do to fix this border crisis?
well, I don't, even if this bill goes through, I don't know that having a limit of 5,000 people per day really fixes anything.
Well, it doesn't, but there's other things in that bill. And by the way, it's not 5,000 per day. I don't know why you guys can't get this through your heads. If it hits 5,000 a day, which it did almost every single day in December, we shut it down. It's completely closed. Closed. You guys keep saying, close the border. Okay. And in order, the reason we chose 5,000 is because there's also resources we have to pour in. We need more Border Patrol agents. We need more processors. We need more judges. We need more attorneys. And this bill that's agreed upon in the Senate funds all of that and expedites all of that. Every day that we don't push that bill through, the border crisis will continue as is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That 5,000 a day is really just business as usual.
No, it's not. It's less than business as usual.
No, because we had 4,000 the other day.
I know, but on average,
and we've had
throughout
12,000.
the month of December, it was 8,000. On average, it was 8,000 a day.
Riddle me this then. Why does it have to be judges who make the decision on the asylum? Why can't that be instantaneous right there? You determine who the person is, or within 3 days.
Because Guerrilla Radio, whose job is it to rule on the laws?
I know, but if we need that, but change.
You want to suspend the Constitution and not use judges now? Who would you put in place of the judges?
I don't know. Maybe
AI. You want to replace our judges with AI?
AIDS, maybe. Make it quicker. Hey, this is a solution that helps the immigrants.
They don't have the authority, brother. We have a constitution. They don't. You can't just give authority of people to rule in cases without them being a judge.
It just seems ridiculous. Remember,
I'm sorry that the Constitution seems ridiculous to you. I know that Republicans are very anti-Constitution. It seems to get in the way of a lot of the things that they want to do.
Come on.
Go read Project 2025 and tell me that's not anti-Constitution.
We did the math on this and how many judges we need on a live one day, I believe. Maybe with Nemo and Whisper, but we added up all the judges that were needed. It was, hundreds and hundreds of judges. Yeah. So you would think that they could make an amendment somehow
160 they proposed immediately.
Well, the point being,
you want to make an amendment to give
$250,000 a year. You got a judge. Why do that?
Either way,
have legal aids.
Well, it doesn't matter. Your party would reject all of that anyways. Again, you're doing the same shit, and I'm not going to let you do it anymore. Admit that your party is the problem. You guys are the goddamn problem. You're the reason we can't do anything about the border. You're saying oh, well, it's not perfect, so we can't do anything. Okay. That's the Republican policy now. If it's not perfect, we can't do anything. Then whose fault is it when we don't do anything?
Dude, come on. That goes both ways. That.
No, Democrats are sitting here willing to do something about the border bill. They're begging for Republicans to work with them, and Republicans are saying no. It doesn't go both ways.
So you're saying
you're so cowardly with this. You won't ever admit when your party is fucking up. You won't do it. Every time it's this whataboutism. Well, they did it too. Every time, dude.
Dude, both sides do it.
No, they're not.
Neutral.
What are both sides doing right now?
I'm trying to be neutral. Right now wasn't the
stop
point.
being neutral and
the
be
point
honest.
is that the Democrats will filibuster just as much as the rights will.
It doesn't matter. I don't care. What we're talking about, the border crisis right now. Who is stopping the border from being addressed?
Well, I don't know. I guarantee.
No, you know. Why won't you answer that question?
I don't think every
Why
Democrat.
won't you honestly answer that question?
Do you think every Democrat would vote for it? Like 100%.
There's enough. Yeah, enough.
But everyone. So obviously it's not perfect. But they love it. If you got
I do think that all the Democrats, because if you look at the votes that have happened in this last Congress, the Democrats vote together. They've done a good job of coming together, making sure voices were heard, and agreeing on a bill, even when they don't like the bill as it, like, completely, even if they have problems with the bill, because they understand their job is to legislate, not stomp around like little babies.
Yeah, dude, I'm not happy with the situation. I don't think,
Well, then blame the Republicans.
It's another year. It's another year, and now I admit that politics are probably involved in here as well. But I also admit that the Republicans, there's a lot of things in there that they don't want. They really don't want.
Who cares? Wait,
money
who cares?
for Ukraine, money for all that
cares?
bullshit.
Wait, who cares? You think that we should leave the border as it is, and because we can't fund Ukraine? That's what you think? You think we should just leave this crisis happening at the border? It should keep happening because we don't want to give money to Ukraine. That's the hill you want to die on?
Well, no, dude, it's still, I don't know if it does anything. You increase the green cards 50,000. You have all these number changes, right?
What do you mean you don't know if it does anything? How can putting more resources, more border patrol agents, more judges, and trying to speed up the process, how can you say you don't know if it'll do anything?
How can 5,000 a day fix anything? It's business as usual. I just said
it's
that.
It's not business as usual. It's less than
1.
business. Business as
million.
usual is 8,000. Business as usual is 8,000 with less border patrol and less judges. The new business would be 5,000 max with more border patrol and more judges and more attorneys and an expedited process and the ability for people who are coming here seeking asylum to, while they wait, they can actually work. They can. We don't have to just pay, like we don't have to pay for everything that they're for all their stays, for all their food. Like, we're trying to fix the problem. We're trying to do it in a humane way. And again, like, you just keep saying, well, I don't know if they're going to do anything, if it's going to be better. Well, is this better than doing nothing? Is this plan better than doing nothing?
I don't know. It almost sounds like
dude, you're talking out of your ass now.
It almost seems like it's setting in stone business as usual, because we do 1.1 million legal immigrants a year.
It's not business as usual. It's less. It's 3,000 it's 3,000 less than business as usual. Stop saying that.
It's still
if you were getting paid $80,000 a year and then we cut it to 50,000 and you went to your boss and he's like, hey, what I was making 80,000 a year, now I'm down to 50. He's like, yeah, but like one time you made 40,000. This is just business as usual. It's not going to change anything. That extra 30,000 doesn't mean anything to you. You can live on 50,000. Would you accept that? Would you accept that answer?
Isn't 3,000 a day overwhelming? So it is business as usual. I mean, if we do 1.1 million legal immigrants a year, and then we do 1.8 million legal asylees a year, where 85% are going to be.
And what if you do 2.3 million instead of 1.3? What if you do 2.3 million instead of 1.3? Is it business as usual if it's 2.3 million?
I think it still overwhelms the system.
I didn't ask if it still overwhelms the question. Your ability to not answer a goddamn thing is crazy. Like, just answer questions. Be honest. You're so goddamn terrified of saying something against the Republican Party that I just asked you if a million more people would be business as usual. And you're like, well, I don't really know if I can answer that question. Of course it wouldn't be business as usual. It would be a million more people. This is less. 5,000 is less than 8,000. I don't know why you are pretending. Like, what do you get out of this guerrilla radio? Does Donald Trump make your life better? Does Republicans make your life better? No. All that it does, it just furthers your consistent efforts to never have to admit that you've ever been wrong about anything in your life. And when you're confronted when you're wrong, what you do is like, oh, I don't know. Is it really? Is it? I'm not comfortable with accepting facts where the Republicans would be the bad guys.
Well,
This
I
is
don't
crazy,
think,
dude.
I don't,
Like you're not going to be viewed as somebody who's rational when you're
Jay,
saying
the
5,000 and 8,000 are the same.
the reason why is neither you nor I are expert enough on this topic to know what a good number is. We're just throwing shit against the wall.
I'm not saying that, and I'll try this one more time. I'm not saying here's a good number. I'm saying the absolute verifiable fact, and you can check this if you have a calculator, that 5,000 is less than 8,000. I'm doing math. That's 3,000 less. That's my only claim. I'm not saying 5,000 is good. I'm saying it's better than 8,000. And you're like, well, what if it's not good? It's better. It's everything about this bill is better than what we have now.
Right. So, and I would agree with that. But where do you get the 8,000? What year is that average?
Then admit it. Then
What
admit it, Guerrilla Radio. And when you show up on other people's lives, be like, you know what? The reason the Republicans can do this is because you guys are all fucking cowards. When they do something bad, when they do January 6th, when they do this, like, you guys let them. You run cover for them. You try and play it off like it's no big deal.
Dude, I don't think me coming up into left-leaning lives, pretty much only left-leaning lives, makes me a coward. I still get up here and try to talk to you.
No. I'm not saying you're a coward because you won't talk to people. I'm saying you're a coward because you don't stand up against the problems of your party. You won't point out the fact that your party is causing this problem.
Yeah, but you do the same. Anytime we say
I opened my show with Cory Bush. I opened my show with a Democrat being investigated by the Department of Justice. I showed a right wing. I used a right wing clip, a middle of the road clip, and then I used not even a left wing one. I gave her giving her explanation, and then I said, "We'll see how this plays out with a DOJ investigation." I reported it accurately, and that's somebody on my side. Don't tell me I don't do that. I absolutely do.
You've never cried whataboutism to me ever? Is that what you're saying?
What?
Because you've done that a lot.
About what?
Everybody does on the left.
About what?
Anything. Where if like Trump did this and we'll say, oh, what about Biden saying it costs $30 to check your bank account balance? He just said that on stage. Whataboutism? That's what you guys cry every time.
Yeah, he does that.
And now you're saying because you opened up your show with some idiot.
Hold on. Hold on.
That forgives you for all the whataboutism?
Man. You haven't even mentioned a whataboutism that I've used. But like that, if you are saying that, like, whataboutisms aren't always wrong. Whataboutisms aren't always bad for a conversation. A whataboutism can be used when you're pointing out somebody's own hypocrisy, right? Like, if you say, oh, we can't vote for Joe Biden, he's too old, but then you have a MAGA shirt on, you're like, all right, well, like, what are you talking about? That guy's old too. Or if you're like, oh, we can't vote for Joe Biden because he makes gaffes. And then it's like, okay, well, your guy also makes gaffes. So, well, whataboutism can be used to show that, like, somebody's actual position isn't their position. Right? The position isn't that Joe Biden's old because you vote for an old person. The position isn't that he says crazy things because you're going to vote for somebody that says a crazy thing. In that way, like, it's a way to suss out, like, is this a real position? Do they hold this principle universally or just against people that they don't like? Whataboutisms are useful. They're not always bad. The problem with whataboutism is when you're like, when the whataboutism is a completely different take. It's completely off topic. It's not talking about the same thing. Like, if I were to say, like, if I brought up January 6th, and you're like, well, what about the 94 crime bill? I'd be like, well, okay. Well, see, like, there's no correlation there, right? That's when a whataboutism's not okay.
A lot of times, you know, it's not, and I get it, it's your platform, I understand that, but, you know, it should be more like chess. You have a timer, you talk, I talk, whether the question's answered or not, great, you can point that out in your next session.
No, because
it doesn't work out that way, Jay.
If that was debate, the problem with that, Guerrilla Radio, is that, like, The reason I don't do that is because the Republican policy, like right now, it's heavily narrativized. And what happens is people will start with a narrative. The first narrative that you've said it, everybody says it. They've been attacking him since the day he came down the golden escalator. First of all, I don't know why you guys don't realize that like that's cult behavior, that you all say it the same way. Like nobody, I watched that video. He came down the escalator. He made an announcement. Nobody attacked him. Nobody attacked him. That's just a thing he said and you guys repeat.
No, so let me answer that then, because again, a lot of times I can't even get to the whataboutism because you'll not pound the table, but you'll shushies, answer the question. You've done it already today, right? You've done it
because
today.
You don't answer questions, just like you're doing right now. You said, "Let me answer the question," and then you spend 2 minutes criticizing that I say shushies. The reason I stop you is because you're doing what you're doing right now. Just answer the question.
Okay, so you can go and you can Google it and you can find the results of negative ads for Donald Trump versus negative ads for every president going back 10 presidents. And you can see that it went like 35%, and then it shoots up to like 82% negative ads once Trump came down the escalator. So it's not the fact that he fucking said it, and we all just
nobody was running nobody was running ads on him before that. Nobody was running ads on him.
Actually, read it. How did you not?
Gorilla. Nobody was running ads on him before he came down the escalator. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it was immediate. It was immediate after that, and that's
but hold on.
A lot of people
hold on, but that's not that. What's that evidence of?
That the media is out to get him. That it's
the media doesn't
insane.
make ads. Wait, no, media doesn't make ads.
Reporters do. Yeah,
reporters don't make ads. Ads are made by PACs.
Trump came down, announced his presidency, and all of a sudden, the media totally flipped to all this negative shit for Trump. If you can't admit that,
hold on. There's no need to report on it until he announces he's running for president. What are you going to report on? It wasn't a big deal until he ran for president. Once you say I'm running for president, your life, your record, your entire history as a human being, that is now on display, and it is and we're supposed to get that out there so people can make an educated decision. What do you think? Are you mad that people told the truth about Donald Trump? Is that what makes you mad?
No,
people brought up that he has a pretty tough history, especially regarding women.
No, what makes me mad, and yes, that obviously is a bad thing about Trump, but what makes me mad is the fact that you literally just didn't answer my question.
What was your question?
That when Trump came down, said he was running for fucking president, everything flipped, and you can look the data up.
What do you mean flipped?
Online.
Flipped from what? What do you mean
you
flipped?
denied that.
Wait, what do you mean flipped? I'm asking Gorilla. Hold on. I'm asking you to clarify your question. Christ. What do you mean by that?
Instead of answering the question, you flipped it
to
where you have to run for president before they can make a negative ad. Who makes the ad?
Gorilla.
Be genuine.
Goddamn, shut up, dude. I'm asking you to clarify what you're saying so we can get on the same page. When you say everything flipped from the time once he announced, you said everything flipped. What do you mean? What was it before and what did it flip to? You got muted.
Of course, Jen.
Well, listen, dude. I'm trying to make this conversation happen. So when I'm interrupting you to ask a clarifying question, don't keep screaming over me. I don't know what you mean by flipped. What does that mean?
Flipped as in most of the presidents, they'll have like 30-40%. I'm making this number up because I can't remember. I looked at this data years ago when he was president and how it changed. There's a bunch of articles online where you can see that the negativity towards Trump. Now you could say, well, because everything he does is negative, but that's not always the case. I mean, it was literal a barrage of negative from every ABC, NBC, CB, everything, MSNBC.
So because
CNN.
People didn't like him is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like
okay. You wanted people to like him more.
And dude, and I'm just being honest
Why
with
does
you.
that-
I'm not trying to make this point where Trump is king right now. I'm being honest with you and
Yeah,
saying
people
that,
don't like him, dude.
but hold on. What I'm
Sorry.
saying is this was the draw to Trump for millions of people when they seen
listen, I
how
can't
how
control what- I
everybody
can't-
hated him.
That's fine. I've admitted that. I understand that people thought Trump was going to be anti-establishment and he was going to come in and change things. And I understand in 2015 some people not recognizing that the criticism of him was fair and that they thought it was that everybody was unfairly attacking him. I understand people voting for Trump in 2016. What I don't understand is it's 2024. It's 2024. Most of what they said about him turned out to be true. And then when he was president, you know what? He was divisive. And then when it was time for him to leave office, he tried to do a coup. He tried to get the election overturned. And then he spent the next 3 years complaining and lying about it. And he's still complaining and lying about it. And you are still stuck in 2015. You're like, well, they were mean to him in 2015. Okay. Well, they were right. And by the way, I don't want to hear a lot about unfair coverage from a guy who literally was the voice of birtherism for Obama. Literally the guy going around the country, getting Fox News, every right wing, Ben Shapiro, everybody, Alex Jones, they all bought into this idea that Obama was born in Kenya. You want to talk about unfair coverage? You want to talk about unfair coverage? Are you fucking kidding me? He made up a lie about Obama being born in Kenya.
Do you see how you worded that? That's very smart of you to word it how you just worded that.
I'm very smart, so that's...
Yeah. I mean, that's fucking awesome, dude. That Trump was the voice for the birther deal. But, because then I can't say, well, that was Hillary's campaign aide that came up with that, not Donald Trump. You say, well, I didn't say that. I said that he was the voice.
Right,
That's
I'm accurate when I speak.
Smart.
Yeah, no, I'm accurate when I speak, Gorilla.
Yeah.
You're upset that you weren't able to get a gotcha?
No, I'm just saying it's very smart. You guys, I catch you guys doing that a lot where you'll say things like that, just like, well, they're telling the truth, so I really can't fucking...
Right, you've avoided this. You're talking about a man who for his entire life has slandered anybody who stood in his way. Anybody who ever stood up to him, he just slandered them. That's what he does. And then he runs for president, and everybody's like, all right, well, let's be honest about who this guy is. And they started telling true stories. Like, if you're upset that they went after Donald Trump, fine. If you think they went after him unfairly, fine. But show me where they went after him unfairly. What was the criticism that was unfair?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just, just an inflated thing, not necessarily that there were more
what was
negative.
the criticism that was unfair, though?
Yeah, they may be. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They may be.
Maybe he's just a piece of shit.
Yeah,
maybe that's why so many people reported against him.
It may be all true, but they would never. I think Trump maybe deserved the Peace Prize over Obama, and he didn't get a Peace Prize. He didn't start any new wars. That should have been a thing, and that ain't ever gonna fucking happen.
Wait, Obama didn't start any new wars either. Stop saying dumb shit that you just have heard other people report. Donald Trump issued more drone strikes than Obama. He was the drone striker in chief. What he did is he made it so he didn't have to report it anymore. That's all that happened. Stop saying dumb things. Obama didn't start any new wars. Either did Trump. Trump did not promote peace. Our allies couldn't stand him. He pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal. He tried to pull out of the UN. He brokered a bullshit peace deal in the Middle East that obviously didn't fucking work because it almost within months of that deal being brokered, violence broke out. He doesn't deserve a peace deal, a Nobel Peace Prize. He doesn't. And I don't care about the Nobel Peace Prize. But when you compare the two people, Barack Obama created far more peace than Donald Trump. Donald Trump's entire existence is chaos and friction. So he thrives off of it. He can't sit in a room and just work with people. He's unable to do that.
Can I read these two sentences to you? This deals with the negative ads. It'll be quick. I'll read it fast. Says, since Donald Trump's election as president of the United States, the news coverage has been relentlessly biased. If you doubt that, a new study from Harvard University should answer that question definitively. The study conducted by Professor Thomas E. Patterson of Harvard's Kennedy School and the Shorenstein Center for Media Politics and Public Policy found that 80% of the media's coverage of President Trump during his first 100 days of his administration, which goes back to what I said, it was like, right away, there's this big flip, right? Was negative. So 80% in his first 100 days of his administration was negative. Not only that, but the news about President Trump and his administration consumed fully 41% of all news coverages, 3 times as much as the previous administrations and coverage for presidents. I'll stop there.
But, right. Yeah, because he's wait, but hold on, hold on. Something changed. Okay, let me answer that then. The answer to that is he's a way shittier person than Obama or Bush. He's a dog shit person. He has a history of abusing women. He has a history of saying horrific things. He has a history of racist policies, racist rhetoric. He has a history of being a vocal liar. He has a history of working with other countries that are our enemies, like Russia. Like, that's crazy. It's like saying who gets more negative press, Schmittler or George Washington?
Right.
Well, of course, Schmittler. Why? But why? Is it bias? No, it's because there was more. There was more information. Like, even the start of this, to say if you don't believe this is bias, here's some stats. That doesn't tell you that it's bias.
Let me ask you this.
No, it doesn't tell you that that's biased. He's a worse person. If you and I sat down off the top of our head and said, like, all right, you take Obama, I'll take Trump, and you start listing everything that they did wrong, whose list is going to be longer? Mine. You'll run out of shit so early. You'll run out of things that he did that were abhorrent so early. And I'll go on for days and days and days. My list will be pages.
Did Jack Kennedy abuse Jacqueline Kennedy?
Wait, no, we're going to see, this is a whataboutism.
Yeah, yes. Did
yeah,
Bill,
so you're going, yeah.
Did Bill do that to Monica with a cigar in the Oval Office? Was that abuse?
That was consensual.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. That was consensual.
Okay, so was he abusing Hillary by doing that with her?
No.
That's not abuse at all. Cheating on your wife.
No.
Not mental abuse, not like nothing.
Well, it could. I don't know the details of like.
Well, it could. Yeah.
Hey, shut up.
Yeah. Well, fuck.
You know
do that
wait,
to
no,
me,
shut up. Shut up. You don't know the details. Like, if something came out that said, like, here was Bill Clinton mentally abusing Hillary, like, I'd be fine with that. But you can't just like make shit up.
How's that?
We're talking about a consensual affair. That's what, like, the victim there is not Bill, it's not Hillary, it was Monica, and the people that victimized her largely your folks, the Republicans, who slut-shamed her everywhere, who made jokes about her every day on nightly television. They didn't make the jokes about Bill, they made the jokes about her. In all of this, she is the one who suffered the most. She had a consensual relationship with a married man, and she suffered the consequences. He got to remain as president of the United States, and she was the one that got torn up. But why? Because of your people. Because your people were so desperate to impeach somebody that they did it over a blowjob.
No, I think it was probably more than that. But
no, he was impeached for lying about having sexual relationship with her.
Yep.
And the nature of that, because they didn't have sex, they didn't have regular, like, they had oral sex. That's why that was his loophole. But that's what you guys decided to impeach him over. And then you're going to come back, your same group's going to come back and be like, I can't believe that you guys impeached Trump over trying to extort dirt on a political opponent and running an insurrection. I can't believe it. You guys are so unfair. Like, you guys impeach somebody for lying about getting a blowjob. There's no reason he needs to tell the American people or Congress if he got a blowjob.
Right. So let me say this, because I've said it before.
No,
it seems like
hold on. You keep going. Every time you pivot to a new person, I prove again that person is not as despicable as Trump, and you're still holding on to this line that how Trump was treated was unfair. No, he's a worse person. He's a gross person.
That's what I'm talking about.
He lived in the public spotlight, every time he did something nasty, we knew about it.
Like, yes. So I'm someone that you would say I'm part of the cult and he's my God and king. But I've said it before. I've said it many times that Donald J. Trump is a pompous, obtuse, can't shut his fucking mouth, silver spoon.
This is that soft criticism.
Real
That doesn't mean a
estate.
goddamn thing. He says mean things that he got his money handed to him, but I'm going to keep voting for him. How about this? How about be honest? How about when you say Donald Trump is, how about you be honest? Credibly accused multiple times of sexual assault.
Yes.
A fraudulent businessman.
Yes.
An insurrectionist.
Yes.
An enemy to democracy. But instead
not an insurrectionist. No, I don't agree with that one.
He's 100% an insurrectionist.
No,
That's
I don't
crazy.
agree with that. You had me until there.
The evidence is so overwhelming that his defense is, I get to do whatever I want. That's how overwhelming the evidence is.
It's almost like it's a balance, right? Where, the scale of balanced, where it's like, you get so sick of the political speak of these politicians that it's like, this was like, as sad as it is, because his women is his vice, right? It's sad as it is.
I wouldn't call abusing women a vice. I wouldn't call abusing women a vice.
I'm just saying, without getting into details, that he's got.
Without telling the truth about it, sure. Without being honest, without characterizing him honestly, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Going into the changing room for his
he's a predator. He's a predator.
It's fucking problems, but it's like
he's a predator.
It's the scale where you're like, God, do you want the guy that's finally gonna fucking say something and not have political speak? He's gonna say what he fucking means, and whether he gets in trouble for it or not, you accept that, or
that's such
or
a
do you
dumb
go for
reason
the
to
angel?
vote for somebody.
Because
such a dumb reason to vote.
Jay,
he says what he thinks, but he also lies right to your face. He lies to your face every day, and you're like, well, at least he's lying. What are you talking about?
Dude,
he's the most dishonest person ever to serve in that office. He's not honest.
You remember?
He's not honest. He doesn't say what he thinks. He says what he wants.
Dude.
He says what he wants to say, and he says what he wants you to think, and you eat it up.
Dude, I would pull up those articles that would come out to say Trump lied 73 times this week or whatever. And I did a deep dive into those lies. So I'll give you an example of one of them where Trump said he was flying and they turned the lights out and he's flying into Iraq or wherever the fuck he was going to meet the troops, right? One of his lies is he was saying, and I had the best pilot, right? The best pilot of Air Force One. They shut the lights down. This guy's 25 years old. The lie was that he got his age wrong by like 2 years.
Okay, what about when he said he wasn't?
That was one of the fucking lies. And
what about when he said he was going to? What about when he? Okay, I get it. Listen, this is the fucking thing with you, though. Like, you will go to this fringe bullshit thing, but when I bring up the fact that did he use campaign funds to pay off a porn star and then lie to the American people about it? Yes. Did he lie to the American people when he said he would divest his interests and he would stop working with Russia while he was president on a Trump-Moscow deal? Yes. Did he lie about that? Did he lie about meeting with Russians at Trump Tower? Yes. Did he lie about January 6th? Repeatedly. He lies about everything, and you are such a fucking lackey that you go back to the stuff, like you try and find a thing he didn't lie about. How about the shit he did lie about that really fucking matters that you don't seem to care about? Do you think it's a problem that our president lied to us about working with an enemy, a foreign enemy, the Russians, and he lied, said, I stopped doing business with them before I was president, and he was doing it up through 2018. Is that a problem?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't ever talk about that, right? You're going to bring up that he got the age wrong because you're desperate to defend this guy, and all your defenses are so dumb and meaningless. I would never have reported on that story. I never would have brought up the story that Donald Trump lied about about the age. If I saw that, I'd be like, I don't care. Well, there's big things that he does all the time that I do care about, and you don't.
It's like in your chat, someone wrote 36,000 lies. That's what I'm addressing. Like, they all fucking lie.
You're doing that instead of addressing the lies that matter. Don't talk to the chat. You're addressing that so that you don't have to address the lies that matter. All you wanted, you're literally just defending him. You can't keep coming up and saying you're not in a cult when you brought up that lie, and you never once have brought up an important lie that he told. Never once have you come up here and be like, hey, did you hear about this lie that Donald Trump told? Not once.
Yeah, that's that's not on my feed, man.
What's not on your feed?
The lies that, that's why I fucking.
You don't know that he lied about that stuff?
That's why I watch you and Felice and left.
Yeah, but you don't learn anything.
My feed isn't spitting out all the fucking terrible lies that Trump does. I get that through.
No, it's just propaganda showing him as Lord and Savior. Yeah, I get it. That was a pretty honest, transparent moment for you, but like Donald Trump has lied about critical things and you don't care.
Well, Biden lies about things that are important too, about his son.
What?
How his son unalived in the military and all the bullshit his family.
He didn't say that. No, see, this is you. Now you are exactly like the media you just criticized. What he said, he misspoke, and he has corrected it multiple times. That what happened is the cancer that his son had was from the burn pits.
No, it's not.
One time, because he's 1 trillion years old, he left that part out. One time. Previous to that, he had multiple times explained what happened to his son. Post that, he's explained it. But one time, he said it the wrong way, and you're going to accuse him of lying.
16 times.
This is you. You are the media.
16
you are
times.
the media that you're criticizing.
Joe Biden lied to me 16 times about his family's
a time when he misspoke, and you're calling him a liar.
That's not a misspoke.
You're just as bad.
When you lie about your family 16 times, that's not misspeak. Sorry.
What do you mean 16 times? What do you lie about?
I'm looking at an article right here. Joe Biden lied at least 16 times about his family business schemes. He lied about not taking.
Yeah, read them. Let's read them one for one. Let's go. Let's read them one for one. This is just James Comer. This is somebody reporting on James Comer's 16 lies. I've gone through all of these.
So Joe Biden, I don't discuss business with my son. I didn't know that was the case when in fact I found out after the fact.
No, there's no evidence that he discussed business with his son.
Yeah, they have photos with every one of them. They go to dinner with every one of them.
Yeah, photos don't prove that you are talking business with somebody.
I never discussed a single thing with my son about anything having to do with Ukraine. No one has indicated I have. We've always kept everything separate.
Okay, and where's the evidence that he talked to his son about his business dealings in Ukraine? Where's the evidence?
Dude, he's on video saying you fire the prosecutor that's going after Burisma.
Wait, no. Where's the evidence that Joe Biden spoke to his son about his son's business dealings in Ukraine?
Oh, it's not listed here.
Yeah, because there isn't any. Next one. 0 for 2.
Well, I mean, it might be at the bottom of the article.
Next one. 0 for 2. Next one.
Okay. Reporter of the president has said he never spoke to his son about overseas business dealings. Is that still the case?
Where's
Jim Psaki says yes. Did you lie about never speaking to Hunter about business dealings? Biden says no. Reporter, there's this testimony now where your son's former business associate is claiming that you were on speakerphone. A lot of them talking business. Is that?
No, that's not even the testimony. This is another lie. That testimony, that was congressional testimony. In fact, he said specifically in the testimony, did you discuss business? No, we talked about generic things like the weather and where we were at. He said, that testimony they're referencing, he said, no, we never talked about business. There's lie number 3, 0 for 3.
Any reaction to House GOP's memo about your family's dealings revealing that Hunter Biden's business associates sent over $1 million to 3 of your family members? President Biden says that's not true.
Yeah, it's not.
But none of his family members received any money? That's not true?
No, they definitely received money.
Okay.
Wait, but 2 things. Number 1, is that illegal?
Well, I guess we'll find out.
No, the answer is no. Number 2, is there any evidence that Joe Biden knew that they got money? Do your parents know where you get your money?
Yeah, because, I mean, Hunter...
Do your parents know where you get your money?
Hunter sends him 10% to the big guy. He knows.
Yeah, but 10% to the big guy turned out, it looks like, to be Joe Biden's brother.
And then how he told his daughter that at least
wait, hold on. No, let's not. Don't run on with this. Let's cover each point. And you're running.
You're gonna look so bad in this in the end. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's why they can't even get like articles of impeachment filed. Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna look so bad. You know what's really gonna happen, Gorilla? This is gonna go away, and you guys are gonna pretend that it was just the deep state, and that we had all this evidence, and they wouldn't impeach him because everybody hates Donald Trump. That's what you're gonna do. This will go nowhere. I'll bet you any amount of money. It
I
doesn't
am
matter
never
because you'll
betting
never
you.
pay. You want to
I'm
bet
never betting you
$500?
again,
You want to
dude.
bet $500 that Joe Biden is never impeached?
I'm never betting you again.
Yeah, because you won't pay.
You hear me?
I'll bet you
out.
$500 Joe Biden never gets impeached. You want to bet that?
Oh man, I think he will.
Okay, $500.
But I mean, time's a ticking, so time's running out. That's the thing.
$500. $100. Joe
No
Biden never
fucking,
gets impeached.
no fucking way.
Exactly.
No, because there's
I'm
a
not
double
going to look
standard.
stupid. You're just going to pretend. This is what you and all of your folks are going to do. You're going to blame partisanship. You make all these dumbass claims. Everything you've brought up so far in this article, like, is a lie. And then when you got caught 4 times in a row that what that article said was a lie, wasn't true, instead of continuing down this road and saying like, oh, maybe I'm being duped, you're like, you're going to look so wrong. Do you understand how dumb that looks from somebody who just went 0 for 4 on their claims?
Pretty fucking dumb.
Pretty fucking dumb. You guys are the ones that are going to look dumb, and you're fortunate. Fortunately, like, nobody really is going to look back on this and criticize you guys. But like, I don't know how you're even watching what's unfolding and thinking that that we aren't right.
But
He's losing every court case.
Say they did a poll, and
I don't
3
care.
in
Hold
5
on. He's
people
losing. No,
believe-
I'm not done. I'm not done. He's losing every single court case. He can't win. Like, he's divided his own party. There's massive chunks of his party who will not vote for him because they think he's a fraud and a threat to democracy. And you're still up here every day like, oh, it's everybody else that's wrong, not me. It's the judges, it's the juries, it's Jack Smith, it's whatever his name is, Merrick Garland. It's all of them. But we the patriots, by the way, we these Trump supporters, the same Trump supporter in you that just went 0 for 4 on your facts, you're still convinced that like everybody else is wrong. At what point do you look at the evidence and how many times you've lost and recognize you've lost, impeached twice, the only president ever impeached twice, the only president ever indicted, the only president ever to have multiple civil cases against him where he lost, the only one. And you guys are still convinced it's just because we hate Donald Trump.
Well, right, here's an article NBC.
We're afraid of a one-term loser. He lost to Joe Biden, dude.
Associates numerous times. Former partner tells lawmakers. I mean, it's like
Wait. Read it again.
Biden spoke with Sun's business associates numerous times. Former partner tells lawmakers 20 times in 10 years.
About what?
A former business partner of Hunter Biden testified the president's son used the Biden brand to his advantage while working for Ukrainian energy Burisma, according to lawmakers. Blah, blah, blah. Devin Archer, 49, answered questions for 4 hours. 20 times phone calls, but not to talk business, he says.
Oh, shit! But what?
Not to, but it's
what?
branding. It's branding. So
But what?
That's
But
Joe
what?
knowing about his son's
Read it again. But what?
The witness indicated that Hunter spoke to his father every day.
But what?
But not about business.
He testified under oath that he spoke to Hunter's business associates, but not about business. And if you've read his testimony, what he said specifically is he and Hunter liked to wait. Hold on.
Niceties, the weather.
Hold on. What he said in his testimony is that Hunter used the Biden name. He tried to pretend that he had influence with his dad. So when they had business meetings, he would call his dad. And his dad, like any good dad, answers the phone. And he would say, hey, Dad, I'm at dinner with these guys. Just say hi. And his dad would say, hey, guys, how are you? What's going on? Where are we at? Oh, we're in Ukraine. We're in China. Great. How's things going? How's the travel? Good. All right. Well, it was nice talking to you. And then Hunter hangs up the phone and goes, see, guys? That's the vice president of the United States. I have influence.
Why have
Hunter was lying. Hunter and Devin Archer have both, Devin Archer specifically, and Hunter has intimated that they pretended that they had influence. They pretended they did, and it made sense. And the people overseas bought it. They're like, oh yeah, this is the president's son. He must be like, if he's saying that his dad's going to listen, he is. But then no money ever funnels to Joe Biden. You can't tie anything to Joe Biden that made him, like, Joe Biden didn't do anything that made Hunter's life easier.
Okay,
There were no sanctions that
let
made
me ask you
Hunter
this,
make more money.
Let me ask you this then. Why have over 20 shell companies and why have a burner phone? Just tell me that
Because Hunter Biden was kind of slimy, right? He was trying to avoid taxes. He was trying to avoid being heard. He was hiding things. Like, Hunter Biden absolutely is a criminal. He was a tax cheat, just like Donald Trump. Right? But Trump was way worse as a tax cheat, which is interesting. But Hunter Biden broke the law. And Hunter Biden used the Biden name so that people would give him money. But that is not a crime by Joe Biden. Every single bit of evidence that has ever come out exonerates him. Every time the Republicans release evidence, like the 10% from the big guy, we know where the 10% went. There's only one person who was getting exactly 10%. And that was Joe Biden's brother. It looks like his brother and his son were using his name.
Here's where it's all going to fall apart for you. Is the aliases, when they release the emails and they get those emails, those fake email accounts that Joe Biden has, it's all going to be in there. And you're going to look silly.
What's going to be in there?
Having excuses after having a Hunter Biden laptop and a crackhead
hold on.
son.
I don't think you understand how this works.
Stupid, dude.
Wait, where are those emails? Where are those emails?
They won't let them have them. They won't release them.
No, where are they?
Saying no.
Where are they?
A digital email? Where is the digital email?
Where are they? Who is Congress asking for those emails?
I don't know. I forget the name of the group.
Who has the emails?
Someone has them. They're going to be on a server somewhere.
How do you know that fake email addresses exist that Joe Biden owned?
They have the names of the email. They have.
How do you know they're Joe Biden's?
I don't know. The prosecutors, the investigators know that, and they're trying to get them released. I don't know what you're arguing.
Wait, how do they know that they exist if they can't get them released?
From emails from other people, I assume.
Well, but how would you know that those are Joe Biden on the other end?
I don't know. Let me see.
Oh, yeah. So, just so you know, Gorilla, what you're essentially now accusing the Department of Justice of doing is obstructing this investigation. They're the ones that are doing the investigation. Congress isn't supposed to do these investigations. And Congress, every time they've subpoenaed information and got it, it exonerates Joe Biden. They bring out stuff like they caught him, and every time it exonerates him. Every time.
Here, time.com. Why did Joe Biden use an alias to send emails when he was vice president? It says Robin Ware 456 and JRB Ware. During his time as vice president, he also used government-issued PCI.gov account with the name Robert L. Peters. The PCI.gov domain has been used for emails of official...
What's that evidence of?
Well, I think that's where he was doing.
Is it illegal to use emails that don't have your name tied to them?
Why? I mean, you are ignoring the big fucking.
Why?
sign.
For a lot of reasons. There's 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 a lot of reasons. And some of those reasons include that when you have a government email, they can read your government email. The government can read your emails, and that can be subpoenaed as part of public record. So if you want to have a private conversation with a family member or a friend, and you don't want that being in the hands of the government, then you would use a private email. Everybody, just so you know, every single politician I ever worked with had multiple private emails. And they would have an email for their family. They would have an email for friends. They would have multiple private emails. Again, what you do every time, dude, like, you don't care. You are the journalist that you hate. You are saying because there's private emails that he definitely committed a crime because you want so badly for there to be a crime. So badly for there to be a crime. But every goddamn time something comes up, it exonerates Joe Biden.
Dude, he's been in politics his whole life. He's very smart.
Exactly, and he's never once been convicted of doing anything wrong, and nobody's even been close to convicting him of doing something wrong.
Tell me if this is
and his net worth is tiny. Outside of his book, he has a very small net worth. He hasn't benefited hardly at all. He hasn't. It doesn't look like he's abused his power. It doesn't look like he's invested in foreign companies. It doesn't look like he's done anything but actually be a good legislator. He went to work every day to do the job. He wasn't doing stuff outside of the government work. He did his fucking job every day, and it shows. He's released all his finances. He's unlike Donald Trump. He gave us his tax returns. He's been transparent.
All right,
And you guys can't find shit, but you're so convinced that he is a criminal.
You tell me if this is important or not. Maybe it's bullshit, but it says the Oversight Committee chairman zeroed in on an email. It contains Biden's schedule for that day. The email was sent by White House aide to the Robert L. Peters email, the alias email, right? But it goes on to say Comer has said the email raises concerns that Biden was telling his son about a meeting he was having with Ukraine's president that could be related to Hunter Biden's role on the board.
What did the email say?
We also know Hunter Biden and associates would inform the VP Biden's official government duties and countries. It said Comer on August 17th letterhead. It doesn't say exact. It was just the schedule of that day that just so happened to be the day that he's meeting with the leaders of Ukraine.
What's that evidence of? What's that evidence of? Tell me what happened there. What's so concerning about that?
I don't know. Comer.
Yeah, I don't know. Exactly. And Comer this is exactly what I'm talking about. Comer's like, look, we have evidence, and you motherfuckers just read the top line. You're like, oh, they got new evidence, and every time I've forced you to read an article, you've been like, oh, it's not. Are you seeing a pattern here? Are you seeing a pattern with the articles you're bringing up? That if you read them, you find out that the headline wasn't true.
Well, Archer says himself, though, dude.
Have you noticed that pattern yet?
But Archer says himself that he was selling the illusion of access and profiting off the Biden name brand. Comer has still not produced evidence that Joe Biden himself was part of the effort.
If I sell you the illusion of something, if I sell you the illusion that I am a billionaire, what does that mean? It means I'm not a billionaire, right? Because it's an illusion. It's fake.
Yep.
Yeah. Hunter Biden was selling the illusion that he had his dad's ear. He's exonerating Joe Biden with that statement.
Okay.
He's saying that Hunter Biden did not have his dad's support.
Let me agree with you on that.
Illusion.
But then Joe is playing part of the illusion by having the 20 fucking calls.
Who cares? That's not a crime.
Oh my God.
No, that's not a crime.
It's influence peddling.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is, because he's having his son do all the deals.
No, because in order for it to be influence peddling, you now have to prove that Joe Biden knew that's what he was doing. And you have no proof of that. You have no proof that Joe Biden knew his son was doing that. And by the way, even if his son did that, let's say his son was like, Dad, I'm going to call you on the phone because these people are like, they believe me more. And Joe Biden's like, cool, that's fine. Yeah. Like if that adds credibility to you, great. What crime is that?
So it all passes the smell test.
What crime is that?
What crime is that? Smell test, right?
What crime is that?
It doesn't look like it does. It doesn't walk like it does.
What crime is that?
It doesn't smell.
What crime is that?
What
crime is that?
So you're cool with this?
What crime is that?
Dude, you guys
what crime is that?
This Russia shit.
What crime is that?
Dude, it's influencing.
What crime?
Quid pro quo. This for that, dude.
That's not a crime. Quid pro quo is not a crime. Try again.
Yeah, you can't do a quid pro quo.
Yes, you absolutely can. We do quid pro quos all the time. Yes, you can. It's not a crime.
You can't.
Yeah, no. Quid pro quo is literally every business agreement ever. It's not a crime.
No, it's
but this isn't a quid pro quo because what did Joe Biden get out of this? A quid pro quo would hold on.
You can't do that. That's illegal.
Be quiet.
It's government, not a business.
Shut up. Be quiet. A quid pro quo would mean Joe Biden would have to get something in return. What did he get in return?
He had a prosecutor fired.
What did he get in return?
A prosecutor fired.
He didn't get that. That wasn't a benefit to Joe Biden. What did Joe Biden get in return? For firing the prosecutor, what did Joe Biden get in return? Dude,
that's what the investigation is doing.
Exactly.
The millions of dollars.
Exactly. And guess what? The investigation has found nothing. Guerrilla Radio. Now you're on smell test? That's your defense? Well, I know that there's no facts that are lining up, and I know every time I read something, it turns out it's a lie, but I don't feel good about it.
I can't wait.
God damn, that's your argument?
I can't wait for the investigation. I would be like, dude, it was so obvious.
Yeah.
It looks like a duck, walks like a duck, talks like a duck, but you're fucking ignorant to it because you're Lord and Savior
ignorant because
Biden.
I'm using facts.
Because Lord and Savior Biden.
Wait. This is when I say it's a cult. This is literally what cults do. They're like, when they're saying crazy things, people are like, no, that's crazy. That's not happening. No, you'll see. At this point, Gorilla, at least you understand that you can't substantiate a single fucking argument, and you have been reduced to you'll see. Good argument. Do you think that's a good argument?
Good, dude. You're good.
I know the facts, and I'm not in a goddamn cult. That's the difference. No,
you run a cult.
Gorilla, if you're leaving alive where you got all of your facts wrong, your takeaway shouldn't be Jay's good. Your takeaway should be, why the fuck was I so convinced when I was so wrong? Every piece of evidence that you bring forward is wrong. And you don't have the self-awareness to look yourself in the mirror and be like, why do I keep showing up on the same live and saying things that aren't true? I wonder what the common denominator is. I'm telling you, the common denominator is not that I'm good. The common denominator is that you don't read past the headlines because we saw what happens when you do. You're smart enough to recognize when you read it that like, oh shit, that wasn't true.
Right. And I can say this like that very well could be just a well-spun narrative in the media to convince us and divide party politics and all that bullshit. That right very now, well could be the case.
Right now, that's the evidence is only that. The evidence right now is only that it's a narrative that has been spun by right-wing media.
Well, it's
there's no evidence. There's zero evidence that what they're saying is true.
It's fun to debate.
Choosing to believe the side without evidence.
You're a professional debater up here. It's fun to debate, right? And that's all I'm doing. I'm not saying I'm part of this cult that absolutely believes it. I'm saying I just admitted that I could be wrong, and it also could be a well-spun narrative. I'm saying that right now. But at the same time, to me, my opinion, my little fucking small town Iowa fucking opinion is that this doesn't pass the smell test. And I find it crazy that you're absolutely adamant that none of this shit happened. That they didn't meet, they didn't go to dinners, they didn't have alias.
The reason I know, the reason I'm adamant is because I read the transcripts. I've done the research that you didn't do. I didn't start off thinking Joe Biden was innocent. I agree. The smell test was like that. Some of this stuff doesn't seem right. So instead of just forming my opinion right then, I went and I read the transcripts from the hearings. Every piece of evidence that ever comes out, I look at it. The reason I have my opinion is because I've done the work. You have your opinion because you have big feelings.
No, but could you say this then? That let's say that you've done your research and you figured out, okay, the 20 whatever shell companies, 27, whatever the fuck it is. And the fact that Archer had said that they never ever talk business, he would just get on the phone and say, how's the weather, right? All that shit is true, right? And you believe all this. You don't think that there could be a little bit still of nefarious activity with Joe Biden being involved? Nothing.
Yeah, for sure. There's always that option. The difference between you and I is I don't make that claim until there's evidence of it. And what you're doing is you're taking all the evidence, which is overwhelming on my side, and you're clinging to this little bit of hope that maybe there's gonna be some evidence eventually that proves that he's guilty. I'm not doing that. I'm literally taking the evidence as it comes out and looking at the story. My narrative is that there is no evidence that Joe Biden committed a crime. When I take that position, if tomorrow evidence comes out that he committed a crime, I change my position and I say, now we have evidence. But it doesn't make anything I said before wrong because there is no evidence that he committed a crime. Everything that you've brought up today is stuff that they tried to use as evidence of a crime, but it's not evidence of a crime. So I'm now firmly standing on there's no evidence of a crime. And if there is evidence of a crime and it comes out, I will immediately change my opinion.
And here's the crazy
part. You don't.
Part.
You're doing the opposite. You understand that, right? You're taking that he's guilty despite the fact that there's no evidence. You're hanging on this hope that he's guilty. guilty. So which one of us has a narrative here?
And know this too, Jay, that, I mean, that's how it's spun. And this is how the divide is that like you think, even though I'm arguing that this could be the case, that I don't want fucking Joe Biden and my president to be guilty of this. I really, truly fucking
Then why
don't.
do you believe it?
Why
do you believe it without evidence?
Just from reading the articles and the shell company thing
You just
really
read the
bothers
articles.
me.
All the articles said that there's no evidence.
But hold on, there's the amount of shell companies, the fact that he was on
How
those
many are
phone
owned by
calls.
Joe Biden? How many shell companies are owned by Joe Biden?
Let me finish.
No,
Let me
I'm going
finish.
to cut you off and ask you the facts. You don't get to make This is the point. Like, you want to narrativize this. And I'm saying that when your narrative is not based on facts, I'm going to stop you. All the shell companies, how many of those have any link to Joe Biden?
I don't know. I don't know how they're even linked to Hunter if they are.
They're linked to family members of the Bidens.
I don't know how they do that investigation.
Yeah.
It's just
okay.
Seems
So when
odd. I'm trying to be cool here.
James Comer has like multiple shell companies as well.
Yeah, I think one of them has like 3 because they have actual businesses.
Well, sort of. He has land that he
the land
people
business, yeah, and that's why he created the LLC.
Hold on, that wasn't the end of the sentence there. He has land that he allows people to hunt on. How many LLCs do you need to own land and allow people to hunt on?
I don't know. Then let's fucking arrest that motherfucker or what about it?
You know why we don't? You know why we don't? Because it's not a crime to own LLCs. None of this is a crime. None of it. And none of those LLCs are a crime. There's nothing wrong with those LLCs. You create an LLC rather than taking direct payment because then you can be taxed as a business and your tax liability is less. So if you are going to receive money from a different entity, it behooves you, it helps you to make an LLC so that you are taxed at a lower rate.
Right, and here's where you're being disingenuous.
Okay.
Because you know that that's also part of how you launder money is creating multiple LLCs,
sometimes
shell companies that you can't.
Wait, sometimes.
Yeah, right.
But other times it's legitimate.
Yes.
And there's no evidence that this is not legitimate.
Sometimes
and even if it is, and even if it's not legitimate, there's no tie to Joe Biden.
Yes. So sometimes it is legitimate, but the more that you add together when you get to 11 LLCs or 12 shell companies, 13, 14, 27, then the odds are that you're trying to fucking hide where money came from and where it went.
None of it is tied to goddamn Joe Biden.
Right.
You're talking about shell companies that other humans own that don't give any money to Joe Biden. Joe Biden's not on the documents. He's not part of it or been paid by the shell company. This isn't a crime.
Okay, Jay.
If they committed a crime, investigate them.
Okay,
but Joe Biden didn't commit a crime here.
Can you be truthful? Can you be truthful for a second?
Yeah.
Hunter Biden has 27 shell companies. Is that a little tiny fucking 1%?
He's a criminal. He's a criminal. I'm not surprised that a criminal tax cheat was cheating on his taxes.
Yes or no? Is it 1% fishy?
No, it's 100% fishy. Given the fact
now
that
stop. Let's
wait,
go on.
hold on.
Given
the fact that he himself is a criminal, I'm not surprised that he has multiple shell companies.
Is Joe Biden having a burner phone fishy?
No.
Not at all.
No.
Okay, we'll throw that one out. It's just the aliases. That's not fishy at all. All the 3 different alias emails or more.
I have 5 emails. I use different emails for different things. I have 5 different email accounts. Am I committing crimes?
What are you using the 5 emails for?
I have a personal one. I have one for I have like some real estate business. I have an email for this business. I have an email that was an old work email that we sold that company, but we stay in touch through that email. And then I have another email for a jointly owned LLC.
Okay, and what are Joe Biden's businesses that he has all these aliases?
Well,
of different names
have
too,
to have
bro.
A business?
It's his other business isn't fucking Joe Biden.
Why does that matter?
LLC.
It's not a crime. What crime is that?
Robert
what crime?
L.
What crime?
Jackoff.
What crime? What crime?
Dude, I'm not saying what crime. I'm saying is it 1% fishy? Is it 1% fishy?
No.
You won't admit
0%
that.
fishy.
You will not admit that.
No. Raise your hand in the chat if you have more than one email address. Hands up in the chat if you have more than one email address.
Yeah, but everybody does over the course of a 20-year period.
Oh, but if Joe Biden does it, how many email addresses does Donald Trump have?
Yeah, but it's the fucking alias
How many does he
email
have?
Robert fucking Smith. When your name is Joseph fucking Biden, wake up,
cares?
dude.
Wake up to what?
Wake up that you don't have.
Wake up, dude.
You don't-
I've shown you all of these crimes that I have no evidence for, and I'm making all of these claims, and now it's boiled down to Joe Biden has an email that isn't even his real name. How can you not be outraged? Grow the fuck up.
my God,
this is, dude, if you have evidence of a crime, present it. But your whole argument now is he has multiple emails,
Dude,
so we have to take him down.
Are
He
any of
must
your
be
emails under
investigated.
David? Are your emails David Smith at Yahoo?
One of my
Steve
emails,
Baker at fucking
my
AOL?
personal email is a fictitious name.
Yeah, but you can have like Guerrilla Radio.
Oh,
You could do that, but it's not going to be fucking a name of a person. It may be Elmer Fudd
Wait,
123.
hold on,
but
hey, bad news. It is the name of a person.
and it's one of
And
your
it's not my
emails.
name.
Why would you do that?
It's the name of a friend's dad where I grew up. Yeah,
But why?
because I thought it was funny, but also because like I only use it for certain things. I only use it for certain people. So they understand, like they understand. Like Robert Smith could be something, it could be nothing. It's also helpful if you have emails, like if you have an email address that doesn't have your name to it, then if nobody's going to hack robertsmith@gmail.com. But if they come across the email josephrobinette@gmail.com, they'll be like, oh goddamn, I think I'd really like to hack that email. It makes perfect. All of these centers, like they all have burner accounts. They all have burner emails. Most of them have burner Twitter accounts, and they're all under fake names. Remember Mitt Romney? He was Pierre Delecto. He had a fake email address that was also Pierre Delecto to create his Twitter, so that he could really just defend himself on Twitter without using his own name. Is that a crime? No, not a crime.
All right, we get the emails. We get these alias emails, and I'll drop it and never mention it again. If we get those emails, and then I'll never even.
You don't have any legal
accuse him.
standing to. You don't have legal standing to get those emails. That's the problem. And this is the real thing that I hate about what you guys are doing.
Not
is
under
that
an
there's no legal
investigation.
stand. There's no. You have to have suspicion, and you have to be able to articulate the crime that has been committed before you can seize people's personal communications. And you can't tell me what crime has been committed. You can't articulate the crime that's been committed. You can't show me evidence that a crime has been committed. There
Influence
is no
peddling.
crime. The only crime that we know of is that Hunter Biden didn't pay his taxes, and then he got a weapon. Those are the
enrich
only
his
crimes
family.
we know of.
Influence peddling to enrich his family. That's not illegal.
That's not a crime.
Okay. All right. All right.
You understand?
then-
Influence peddling is not a crime, right?
Yeah, but it's a quid pro quo, dude, and you can't do that
Quid
in
pro
the
quo is
government
also
as
not
much
a
as you
crime.
think that you can.
Wait, Google
Maybe in a
right now.
business you can. You can't.
Google right now. Is quid pro quo a crime? Just Google it.
All right. Hold on, let me put my password in. It's Robert E. Lee.
It's sucking Trump's ass.
Sucker.
I can just read it from the Thomson Reuters Legal Solutions. By definition, quid pro quo is neither immoral nor illegal. However, as an essential element in bribery and extortion, quid pro quo often has both illegal and immoral implications. So, in order for a quid pro quo to be illegal, it needs to be an element of bribery or extortion. Now, so then you've got to show, like, where was the bribe? Joe Biden never received any money. Not a dime. So what was he bribed with? And who did he extort?
Well, it would be a blackmail situation,
Okay,
wouldn't it?
so do we agree?
They're
quid
holding
pro
up
quo?
$1 billion of
So do we
aid for
agree
firing-
quid pro quo is not illegal?
No, you can read. Let me read mine. A quid pro quo is only illegal if it breaks the law, as in the case of a bribe, blackmail, or some
Sorry to
sort of
say.
contingency.
So is quid pro quo by itself a crime?
It can be illegal if it breaks the law. Yes.
That's what I just said. So
Yeah.
is quid pro quo by itself?
No, I'm
a
not.
crime? Okay,
I'm
there
not
we go.
following
No,
that
thank you.
logic
Thank
of
you.
thinking, because that's not that's
No,
incorrect.
because you're
how
assuming
putting it.
there's a crime. So
No,
when you point out, the problem is that you use terms to implicate a crime. If you could find a quid pro quo, which first of all, you can't even find a quid pro quo. So not only can you not find extortion or bribery, you can't even tell me what the quid pro quo was. You have no evidence of a
it's
quid
the
pro quo.
$1 billion for
But
firing a prosecutor that's
he
going
didn't
after
get that.
Burisma.
He didn't get that. Where's that money?
Well,
You think Joe Biden got $1 million for firing a prosecutor?
I mean, you don't get to win the argument because the fucking case hasn't.
Because I
gone
have
to
the
court
facts?
yet.
Yeah, I know.
Where
I
they
don't get to
track-
win because you have
this
no
is the
facts?
innocent
Yeah, I get it.
Proven guilty shit.
Yeah,
I don't
but
have
you're
all the
making
fucking
claims.
details.
You said he
I'm a
committed a quid
Yahoo
pro
on
quo.
fucking TikTok, fucking debating whether or not we think the crime was committed or not. I think there was. You think there wasn't. But you think
and the courts and the Department of Justice and the investigators and the FBI, they all agree with me. And the only people who don't agree with me are the people who are Trump lackeys in the House. The Senate Republicans don't think there's evidence of a crime here. There's not enough. You don't have enough votes. There's not enough votes from House Republicans to even get an impeachment done. Nobody believes this is a crime except for Trump people.
Dude, if you just took and added it up, Jay, like the whole him on video saying what he said, the 27 shell companies, the burner phone, the alias emails, the fact that Archer said that he would
all
call
of those. No. This is why you're so stupid. No, I'm not going to hold on. I've debunked every one of those.
Yeah, but
you can't.
I'm
You can't say if you. I debunked every single one of those steps. They're not part of your narrative. You can't say if you take it all together, all of those were debunked.
That's
you
what I'm
don't
doing.
have anything. You can't build a
That's what I'm
narrative
doing.
on fake things. I
Doesn't
debunked
pass the
every
smell
one
test.
of those points already.
Doesn't pass the smell test to me. Okay, to me, and we'll just end the discussion. To me, in my opinion, it doesn't smell the.
Yeah, whatever. Like you debunk every single point walking through it, and then the conclusion is, well, if you add up all those debunked conclusions, then nonsense. Red and blue apple grapes are purple. Trump's glorious stuff. That's pretty good. So yeah, stop smelling things. That's a good idea. Well, yeah, Trump's innocent until proven guilty. That's a good point. Yeah. I did see some Republicans in there saying they weren't claiming that they weren't claiming gorilla there. What do we have to add here? I covered that yesterday. This is actually good. I'm going to play this while I go turn off my heat. So this was a video that was put out by TYT Sports. I'm not a fan of TYT, but I'm just going to play this for just a second. This is Frank Zappa. I'll post this in the Discord, but while I go turn off my heater, it's getting too hot in here. I'm going to play this video. This is Frank Zappa from the 70s, perfectly describing like what's going to happen in our country. I just thought this was interesting.
My administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country. America's so true. Didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay.
If anyone could put all this nonsense in perspective.
The thing that sets the Americans apart from the rest of the cultures in the world is we're so stupid. This country's been around for a couple hundred years and we think we're hot. And we don't even realize that other countries have thousands of years of history and culture, and they're proud of it. And when we deal on an international level, with foreign policy and stuff like that, and we try and go in as, a big American strong country and all that stuff, they must laugh up their sleeves at us because we are nothing. We are culturally nothing. We mean nothing. We're only interested in the bottom line.
It's the late Frank Zappa.
Really, what is the government's role? You've told me several times what it should do.
How about national defense?
Yeah, I consider this national defense, pal. Our families are under attack from people like you with these lyrics.
Could I make a statement about national defense?
Yeah.
The biggest threat to America today is not communism. It's moving America toward a fascist theocracy. And everything that's happened during the Reagan administration is steering us right down that pipe.
And his words ring true.
I'll drop that in Discord. It's 7 minutes long, but it's a really interesting video of Frank Zappa just accurately looking at what Reagan was going to do and what Reagan was advocating for, and saying like this leads us down to a Christian nationalist end result. Let me drop that in the Discord real quick. We're playing all the hits today. Sorry to everyone, but there was Bushmasters there. Official Eli says, Jay says he's a criminal, he's a scumbag, and Guerrilla Radio is like, that doesn't seem fishy to you? That's pretty clever. I don't even know that this is history repeating itself. I think that people incorrectly identified what had happened. They incorrectly identified like what would happen if we took a hard shift to the right. Like when we took a hard shift to the right, people just thought like, oh, this will stop before fascism. It'll stop. We won't do this forever, but it didn't. Like now we're 2023 and it's coming. Hey, Jen.
So just hopping up doing the Felice thing. Please like the live, share, as Felice would say, to your most favorite or least favorite conservative, MAGA, whatever. Tap Jay's Pinhead. We've got a YouTube that we post videos for the hosts or the lives and other videos. And if you want a link to the Discord, message one of the mods and we will get that over to you.
I was muted. Thank you, Jen. Always wonderful. And yeah, let me know if you need one of my 27 email accounts to send to you.
I've got 4 or 5 myself. So
are they all under? Actually, I know one of yours, and I guess that does have your name on it.
I think you know 2 of mine.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I changed from my government name so that
I'd like to point out that you having that meant like the fact that you have emails, you actually probably are doing fishy things with your emails. I don't doubt that you
for sure I am.
I
like to troll.
Yeah.
I mean,
at the very least, it's harassment. At the very least, there's some harassment happening.
For sure. Facts.
Thanks, Jen.
Later.
See ya. Here was another story that came out. Ron DeSantis, he was really grumpy this morning. There's a story, New York Post. I mean, everybody reported on this, but obviously New York Post is where Republicans are going to go. The headline is "Cops Beaten by Rowdy Migrant Mob, Caught on Video Assault Near Times Square, and Suspects Later Freed Without Bail." Now, this is a weird thing Republicans are doing now. Ron DeSantis said illegals can walk across the border, beat up cops in New York City, and be released without bail. Well, I don't know where he thinks New York City is, but you can't just walk across the border and beat up people in New York City because it's a long ways. This is a national embarrassment. Deport the illegals and close the border. Well, I looked at the reporting on this, and I think there's 7 of the assailants that were caught. I do have questions about the video that I've seen. It's edited. It doesn't show the initial confrontation. And then suddenly from out of the corner into view, you see a cop with one of these guys in a headlock, and they drop down to the ground. Oh, sorry. Video's freezing. Sorry. They drop to the ground, and so I think I'd rather see the rest of the video. But the main point is Republicans will use anything that they possibly can. Some of the people in this group were American citizens. I know there was one from Mississippi, and I think there was one from New York. The rest of them are listed as migrants. There's nothing in the reporting so far that says that these people were illegal, like that they were here illegally. There's no evidence that any of these people were here illegally, and they're all facing felony charges. What Republicans are upset about is that you can't just like keep people in jail all the time. That when you commit a felony, that you don't just sit in jail, that you have to, that you can get out. These people don't have any money. They can't afford bond. You're in New York. New York's already overrun with people right now. There's probably nowhere to put people in a jail. But Republicans are going to use every opportunity they can to demonize immigrants and call everybody illegal. I haven't. The last I checked on this was maybe 3 hours ago. So there could be an update, and if somebody has an update in the Discord, let me know. But this is the Republican playbook. They're not going to do shit about the border, and then they're going to use any story they possibly can to demonize immigrants. Like the amount of hatred that you see coming out of the right, specifically on Twitter, is pretty disgusting. But to see it from somebody like Ron DeSantis to make these claims, they're the unsubstantiated claims, stupid claims. It just goes to show you the desperation of this Republican Party. They have nothing to offer the American people. They have nothing to offer any of you. This morning, we had a bipartisan bill. Mo had put this in the Discord. There's a bipartisan bill to cut taxes. And those taxes, as I read through it, I made it almost through. Those taxes are largely going to go to affect lower income and middle class families. It expands tax credits. It allows you write-offs that had expired previously. I'll have more details on it tomorrow when we cover the show. But you have Republicans just railing against it, and they say the same thing, like, "I can't believe we're doing this when we need to take care of the border." No matter what happens in this country, no matter what legislation is passed, no matter our jobs numbers, no matter our inflation numbers, any bit of good news is just met by Republicans redirecting you to the border, and then doing nothing about the border. This is a historically inept party. This is a historically culty party. There has never in my lifetime been a party that did so little and said so much. The amount, like, we're up to like 30 attempted impeachments now. None of them even getting to a vote. Like, they can't even get an impeachment charge on anybody that they can vote on because they know the vote would be embarrassing. They know they will lose the vote, so they don't bring it for a vote. And it's sad. Like, it's when you hear the political right, when you hear them talk about like this impending civil war, and you hear them advocate for a civil war, the saddest part about all of this is that these are just people who are being lied to. They're just people who are being fed bullshit after bullshit after bullshit, and they get really, really in their feelings. That's why when you have somebody like Gorilla come up here and you debunk every single fact, he's not ready to change his mind because he has a lot of feelings. And that's what propaganda does. It makes you doubt the facts. I remember I don't remember which Mormon prophet it was, but at one point they said over the pulpit, "Don't question your faith, question your question," or something along that. Or no, don't doubt your faith, doubt your doubt. That's what it was. Doubt your doubt. And that's what Republicans are saying too. That's what Guerrilla Radio is saying here. Like, hey, I'm doubting my doubt now. You've created doubt. You've given me counter evidence, and I have to doubt that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction that eventually I'll be right. Like, I can't be right now. I can't bring the facts now. Republicans, you guys can't be right now. You couldn't be right in 2020 when you told us the election was stolen, in 2021 when you had all those court cases going, and you all told us, you'll see, you'll see, you'll see. You weren't right then, right? You weren't right about locking up Hillary. You weren't right about the deep state. You weren't right about the QAnon shit and the trafficking, and that was a cabal. You weren't right about the Epstein list. You haven't been right about anything. Everything you've been telling us to wait for, every time it comes out, it's wrong, and you haven't figured that out. You're just going to show up on the every day and be like, just ignore the fact that everything you guys have predicted has been wrong. And I'll ask to any Republican in here, please come on. I don't want to just talk to myself, but tell me, what's keeping you there? What policies do you like? What are you so afraid of with Democrats? You want to fix the border, but you don't want to fix the border. You want to help struggling people. You want to complain about the fact that people can't afford stuff. Great. We cut taxes for those people. We offer assistance programs. We improve the child tax credit. No, that you're opposed to that too. What things in this country are you open to? What things could we actually find bipartisan support on? What would you be open to doing besides cutting taxes for billionaires? You want to take care of homelessness? You say that, like, oh, what about our homeless veterans? Okay, well, are you guys voting? Are you advocating to your congressmen and your senators? Are you saying like, hey, let's improve funding for the VA? What if we built houses for veterans and it was a 0% interest loan? They could take out a loan, 0% interest. What about those who can't? Those veterans who are unhoused because they can't get a job because they have PTSD or they have issues that resulted from being at war. Are we going to give them? Are we going to give them great medical care? Are we going to give all the unhoused medical care? Are we going to do? Are we going to do anything at all? No, you're not. You're just going to run. You're just going to run from every issue, and just circle the wagons around Donald Trump. He does nothing for you. For the life of me, I can't figure out as a Trump supporter what it is. What's keeping you around? Yeah, signing something would be progress, and they don't want to help people, and some people don't want to be helped. It's selfish. Yeah, that's true. MAGA doesn't care about people. These folks are up there just doing the bidding of the billionaire class, and a billionaire, a criminal billionaire who wants to be president and who wants to help out his other billionaire buddies. And you guys are like, yeah, let's do that. Let's do more of that. We need to cut taxes for these billionaires. That's what we got to do. And by the way, let's make sure that when we talk about border policies, let's only have like insane border policies, like put a moat. Let's build. That was a real thing, guys. It's a real thing that Donald Trump was like, let's build a moat. Let's put alligators in it. Like, I don't know where alligators can and cannot live, but I know that I live in Arizona and I've been to the border and there are not a lot of alligators. So I don't know if we would have to do some adjustments to the climate. Or what about we just maim them? We just line up and as people come across the border, we just shoot them in the leg. That's the kind of brain dead shit that you guys are advocating for, but you're so bloodthirsty. You love violence. Nobody loves violence more than Christian conservatives. Every Christian conservative, cowardly, fake alpha man that comes up here, when you get them in their feelings, their first thought is like, we're going to be violent. We're gonna. I'll punch you if you wouldn't say that to my face. I would say it to every one of your faces. The sad part is most of you, like if you did assault me and I did want to sue you, you don't have anything, so that kind of sucks. Just kind of taking a punch to make you look stupid. But I don't know what to do about that, folks. They don't want to admit it. They're surrounded by their own evil. In fact, yeah, and look, when you're surrounded by evil, when the people in charge are doing evil things, what they have to do is convince you that what you're doing is not evil, it's necessary, right? Like, it doesn't fit in. I think my Wi-Fi's glitching. Off my Wi-Fi and pop back on. We'll try that for a bit. I don't remember what I was saying. Son of a bitch. All right, we'll go to another story. All right, so this was from J. Michael Ludig. He was a former Fourth Circuit of Appeals judge. He was appointed by George H.W. Bush. He was one of the most renowned circuit court judges from the... Where was he at? I'm trying to remember. I don't remember where the Fourth Circuit is. Anyways, his amicus brief was filed in the appeal involving the Colorado Supreme Court's decision to remove Trump from the state's ballot. The amicus brief, which is that's a friend from the court, right? Like, an amicus brief is somebody who, usually a former judge or a respected attorney, they'll write that brief as a friend of the court. It's meant to provide the justices with an alternative third-party viewpoints on issues before them from parties who may be interested in a case's resolution. Judge Ludig's brief, in pertinent part, made the argument that Trump should be removed from the ballot because he incited and therefore engaged in an armed insurrection against the Constitution's express and foundational mandates that require the peaceful transfer of executive power to a newly elected president. In doing so, Mr. Trump disqualified himself under Section 3. I watched some of the January 6th videos yesterday, and my contention is this: I think that we're making the wrong arguments on the left. I think that we allow ourselves to get stuck in the argument of did what he say incite violence? Did it not incite violence? Were the words direct? Did he say march to the Capitol? But I would offer this. He knew when the votes were going to be counted. He knew where the votes were going to be counted. He knew on what day the votes were going to be counted. And he chose to give a speech on that day. And what was that speech for? What was that entire gathering for? They've admitted it. And this is why I think in this amicus brief, I think he's absolutely right. He did incite and therefore engaged in an armed insurrection. What was that for? It was called Stop the Steal rally. What does that mean? Like, what does that mean? Does that mean the election's being stolen and we just want to point it out? No, it specifically is Stop the Steal. He advertised it on Twitter. It's going to be wild. You had the people at the Ellipse. It was like the Women for Trump. They're the ones that got the permit. They got the permit. It was originally for January 5th because they had planned something, and then they moved it to January 6th so that Trump could use their permit. And specifically, they said, we will not be marching. Like, remember the other day, I don't remember who it was, but they're like, why was there National Guard on the streets beforehand but not after? Well, we know. We know what happened. The people who got the permit said, no, we won't be marching. Like, we don't need assistance. We don't need National Guard. We don't need police escorts. There will be no marching. We're just going to stay at the Ellipse. They lied. They purposely lied. And Donald Trump started a rally called Stop the Steal, and he sent people to the White House. Now, if that was all the information, fine. Like, you still have a little bit of wiggle room to get out of that. But we also know that Donald Trump and his team were repeatedly briefed on threats of violence, that people were planning on storming the Capitol, trying to break into the Capitol. We have intelligence on that. Trump was briefed on that before January 6th. I'd like to hear a good defense for that. The more stuff comes out, the more I think Jack Smith's case against Donald Trump is a slam dunk, and the more I think that the Colorado court got it right when if you want to remove him for engaging in an insurrection, it seems pretty cut and dry that because he incited, he therefore engaged in the insurrection. He certainly incited, and it was premeditated. He knew of the potential dangers. He was briefed on it. He knew where the people were going. He told them to go there. I think it's a slam dunk case. I think that's why his defense is, oh, I can do whatever I want. I have presidential immunity. Are there Republicans here? Maggie B, let's talk about it. I don't know if Maggie B is on my side or not. I probably just jumped the gun there. What did that say? It was planned to march there. Roger Stone. Yeah, Roger did say it in a documentary. Well, Trump said it in the speech. He said we're going to march down to the Capitol. He said peacefully and patriotically. Fine. Do you know why? Like, Donald Trump's dumb, but he also understands, like, he's been in court his entire life. He understands, like, what he needs to do to not be involved in something, to not be able to be charged with something. If you know that violence is going to happen, if you know people are planning violence, and you still show up at that rally, and you still tell them to march on the Capitol, and you advocate that the people trying to come in with weapons be allowed to come in. Remember that, too. People showed up to stop the steal, and they had weapons. And they had the security checkpoints with the metal detectors. And Donald Trump was briefed on the fact that people were trying to bring in weapons. And what did he say? Don't worry, let them in. They're not here for me. They're not going to hurt me. Lower than the last. Do the talk throttling. Yeah, peacefully and patriotically attack police. Steve Bannon's video. Which Bannon video was that? Adika Monet? Give me the Google search. What should I search there? That's right. Remove the... Is that what they call it? Magnetometers? What were they called? Yeah. He didn't want the metal detectors there because they weren't there for him. Who were they? How did he know that? How did he know? How did he know they weren't for Miss Jen? How did he know they weren't for him? Bannon Jan 6 video. Which video? Oh, on Declare Victory? Yeah, let's do that. We can pull that up. That is an interesting video. That does go to... This was on... What was the date that he did this? This is from the January 6th committee. There's a commercial for Callaway Golf first, though.
Just a few days before the election, Steve Bannon, a former Trump chief White House strategist and outside advisor to President Trump, spoke to a group of his associates from China and said this.
And what Trump's going to do is just declare victory, right? He's going to declare victory. But that doesn't mean he's the winner. He's just going to say he's the winner. The Democrats, more of our people vote early that count. Theirs voted mail. And so they're going to have a natural disadvantage, and Trump's going to take advantage of it. That's our strategy. He's going to declare himself a winner. So when you wake up Wednesday morning, it's going to be a firestorm. Also, if Trump is losing by 10 or 11 o'clock at night, it's going to be even crazier. No, because he's going to sit right there and say they stole it.
Agree.
I'm directing the Attorney General to shut down all ballot places in all 50 states. It's going to be no. He's not going out easy. If Biden's winning, Trump is going to do some crazy shit.
As you know, Mr. Bannon refused to testify in our investigation. He's been convicted of criminal contempt of Congress, and he's awaiting sentencing. But the evidence indicates that Mr. Bannon had advanced knowledge of Mr. Trump's intent to declare victory falsely on election night, but also that Mr. Bannon knew about Mr. Trump's planning for January 6th.
All right. That's a good point. Thank you. I don't know if I'm saying that right, Adika Monet, but thank you. That's a good point. Like, remember that for every claim that Donald Trump makes, that like there's people surrounding him that are like, yeah, that wasn't true. And it's not like Steve Bannon. Like Steve Bannon wasn't doing this because he wanted to like go against Trump. He was bragging. Steve Bannon loves this. He lives for this shit. He's a huge fan of attacking democracy, ignoring democracy. Somebody asked me about a TikTok ban, if I'm joining the TikTok or boycott. I don't know what that is. I didn't know. Is there a TikTok boycott? Somebody want to tell me about that? Jen, do you know? I don't even know. Somebody let me know. 1 week, no coins. Oh, people are saying they don't want to. Okay. I'll have to talk to Jones. I'll call Jones after this and see what he says. I don't know anything about it unless somebody real quick. IB, I'm assuming you have the info on this. Hey.
It's called CoinCot. They're boycott gift taking. Basically, when you create your lives, make it so that nobody can receive gifts from February 2nd to February 9th. It's in support of POC, Black, and other content creators.
Yeah, what's the goal with that? Is the goal to get TikTok to do something, or
yeah, it's the fact that TikTok kind of tends to silence those voices more.
Are there? Sorry, I haven't watched anybody's lives. Are their lives being throttled? Is that what's going on?
Yes, lives are being throttled. As a matter of fact, the CoinCot videos that people are posting are getting shadow banned like mad.
Wow. I'm unaware of this. Will you send me some of those, and I'll call Jones after this. I'd like to, before I say what I'm going to do.
Yeah, it's mainly Jones. From my understanding, it was Jones and Polypolitics that pretty much started it. And again, if you're not following Polypolitics, you absolutely need to follow him. He is amazing.
I don't think which one's Polypolitics? Maybe. Send me Polypolitics. I might be. I don't remember.
Will do, brother. Will do.
Send those to me. I'd be happy to join if it's for a good cause. I have no problem with that, but thank you.
Yeah, not a problem, brother.
See ya. Yeah, I'd like to get information on that. They're getting banned once they start getting coins. Interesting. I don't know what TikTok's doing. I mean, obviously, I lost my main account for like the craziest possible reason. Give me 1 second. I remember who this is. Hey.
Hey, dude, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Babe! What? What's the name of that dude on YouTube?
What?
The guy that,
John Moan.
have you heard about John, what?
The guy that decapitated.
It's the guy on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Have
Yeah,
you
we
talked
covered
about
that
that?
yesterday. We covered it yesterday. That's sick.
Oh, sorry. I totally missed you yesterday.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, honestly, I didn't really want to cover it that much because I hate to paint MAGA like they're all like that guy, but it's I guess my thoughts are like MAGA turns people against their families. When you start calling the other side demons, when you claim that they're part of like some giant cabal that's trying to fight against Jesus and take down Donald Trump, who's fighting the deep state, like that's what happens. People look at you as a demon. I've experienced that type of rejection from family members and friends as well. But yeah, we covered that one yesterday. It's just gross. It's really gross. If you guys want to watch it, go ahead. I haven't seen the video. I don't think I can stomach that.
It's very bad.
Yeah. Is it still up? I heard they took it down eventually. Is it still up?
They've been taking it down over and over again. They got it off YouTube, but then people keep posting it back on Twitter over and over. So
that's sick. Let's just make sure that we don't learn anything from that. Let's not address mental health, and let's not do anything about being in a cult. Let's just keep going on and expect this never to happen again. I think that's going to be the goal. Yeah, it was the key points.
Let's not address mental illness.
That's fucking disgusting. Yeah, I saw it, unfortunately.
Yeah, terrible.
Hope it wasn't a fighting avocado.
Artichoke. Artichoke.
Sorry.
Fighting artichokes.
Sorry.
Yeah, everybody knows avocados are peaceful. Artichokes are the real warriors.
Good point.
All right,
Do you know what speech Ballard's going to be given at CPAC?
I haven't seen. Has he said what he's going to say yet?
No, not to my knowledge. I've been looking to see if I can find anything yet. What his talking points are going to be. What they're bringing him in
Probably
for.
just the same shit. Everybody's after you. Look what they're doing to me. It'll be some dumb shit like that.
Poor me. It's all a smear campaign.
Yeah, he's such a victim.
Yes, always.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, guys.
Have a good day.
Yeah, good talking to you.
See ya.
Sorry, I forgot Bob wasn't a friendly, but it's good to talk to Bob. We had a baby. It's a boy. I'm trying to remember if they're in Utah or not. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure ex-Mormon there. Yeah, Tim Ballard, the last news I'm seeing, he addressed the allegations. What did he say yesterday? We can just play it. Here's what he said, I guess. I haven't seen this video yet. There's going to be an ad. What do you think the ad's going to be? Let's take a guess. Seems like it might not load.
All right, all new at 10 tonight for the first time. Operation Underground Railroad founder Tim Ballard is fighting back against a whirlwind of new sexual abuse allegations.
Ballard says that one of his accusers is love-stricken, and this is an attempt, he says, to shake him down because she was unhappy and controlling in her marriage. Today, Ballard filed a countersuit against Celeste and Michael Boris, who sued Ballard, accusing him of sexually abusing her.
Now, Ballard's attorney said the plaintiffs orchestrated a media campaign to damage his reputation and influence potential jurors. Jim Spiewak live after going through dozens of pages of court records today.
And Jim Ballard is calling his accusers vicious, unkind, and says they have not provided any evidence, at least in his eyes, to back up their claims.
Heidi and Mark, this thing's going to be playing out in a courtroom for quite some time. Take, for instance, the suit and the countersuit that I have in my hand right here, more than 100 pages of court record documents. Now, Tim Ballard is denying all the sexual abuse allegations against him, which he says are ever changing. And he goes on to further say that the women who are coming forward and accusing him are doing so to extort him for money. In her lawsuit against Tim Ballard, Celeste Boris says her participation in OUR's couples ruse caused her marriage to fall apart. According to his new filing in response to that, here's what Tim Ballard admits. At some point, Celeste Boris approached him about doing undercover operations. Ballard admits OUR employed the couple's ruse where women were told they would be involved in limited consensual physical contact to act as wives or girlfriends in undercover ops to gather intel on trafficked women and children. Ballard also claims that Boris kept working with him until just before she filed suit and never claimed to be assaulted.
Here's what Tim Ballard denies. All of the sexual abuse allegations against him, including he ever assaulted her. Ballard denies creating a wedge in the Borys marriage, claiming that she told him she hated her husband and that he was abusive and financially controlling. Ballard furthermore claims that Borys wrote a letter 2 weeks before filing suit saying that she felt safe being Tim's partner on every operation they did. Tonight, an attorney for the Borys sent 2 News a statement in response saying, quote, Tim Ballard has been kicked out of Operation Underground Railroad, the Nazarene Fund, and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints as a result of his sexual exploitation and assaults, adultery, and drug addictions. Ballard has ruined his own reputation through his own choices and delusions of grandeur. He has left a trail of victims across the world through his frauds and assaults.
Yeah, surprise, surprise, right? Like, we're just going to blame the victim. It's always the victim. I did notice he didn't address any of the allegations that there was sexual contact. I noticed he didn't address any of that. He just said it wasn't abuse. I think that it's likely that coming from a former Mormon here, somebody who came from a patriarchal society, someone who's multiple times heard from Mormon leaders and from women who spoke with their Mormon leaders after getting counseling for their marriages, that it was their obligation to have sex with their husband, that the husband was obligated, or that the husband was owed sex. Coming from a society where unless you're getting a hard refusal, a hard no, and multiple no's, then it's not consent. There's no way Tim Ballard understands that if you persuade somebody, if you manipulate them into situations where they feel they can't give consent, which is what he was doing. He was putting these women in a situation where he told them, like, hey, there's people watching us. Okay, and they have to believe that we're a real couple. So when you're in another country, you're acting as a couple, and you're faced with a scenario where this person who's the expert's like, hey, they're watching right now, we really have to sell this. Well, if the woman consents at that point and does it, but she's doing so because she's worried about her safety, it's not consent. And Tim Ballard hasn't addressed, those are the accusations, just so you guys know, that's the accusation. The accusation from these women isn't that he just walked up to them and pulled a Donald Trump, right? He didn't follow them into a dressing room and trump them. What the accusation is that they were convinced to do these things, and ultimately some of them didn't even recognize the abuse until they were meeting with other people and they found out he was using that same manipulative behavior on everybody. And then you dig further and you find out that they were never in any real danger in these scenarios. People weren't watching them. Right? There didn't need to be a couple's ruse. That didn't seem important. He was going in and out of strip clubs, and he said he set up the couple's ruse so that he didn't have to do things. But then when he would go on his training missions there in Utah, he would take these, and I think he went to Wendover too. He would take these women with him on training missions, and they would go to the strip club, and they would have strippers dance with him, and he would have the women give him lap dances and strip for him. So the whole reason of having a couple's ruse was so that when he went to strip clubs, nobody offered him anything, so he could hold to his standards. But he was practicing it. He was practicing not holding to his standards. And instead, it's not better that he was tricking women into being the strippers. That's not better. That's not a better option. So again, Tim Ballard never, in any of his statements, he has never addressed any of the actual claims. He just says, I didn't abuse them. That's what he's saying. He probably thinks that what he did wasn't abuse. He probably thinks that tricking somebody into a relationship like that is okay. That's just a guess, though. Ellie, I'm just trying to do friendlies right now. I don't know, Ellie, are you opposition or friendly? Or if you had something you wanted to add about this case that I'm missing, quickly we could do that. But I don't know, Ellie. I didn't recognize your name. I see Buffalo. I don't like that. Jen, will you take care of that? Bring her up if she has something I'm missing on this case, or if it's opposition. Either way. You should go on the live and explain why you support. Oh yeah, Terry. Terry, come on up. Probably there with Vivek edging. I don't know. Did any of you guys go watch? What was his name again? Jimmy Rex. Did any of you watch the Jimmy Rex video I told you guys about yesterday? Let me see if I can find it. Jimmy not great. And I think Jimmy's kind of a scammer. He worked in real estate. Now he runs like a men's a men's group. I don't know how to explain it, like a men's empowerment group, and they do good things. But he worked directly with Tim Ballard. I'll just post it in the.
What's up, guys?
It's 37 minutes long from his own podcast. And I'll drop it in the Discord. But it's worth a listen, because this is somebody who was good friends with Tim Ballard. Jimmy Rex has a lot of money, and he's politically active, and he donated a lot of money. And when you would go on these Operation Underground Railroad things, what would happen is isn't Paul Jimmy's mentor? Paul, I don't know. I don't think so. I'm not sure which Paul you're talking about, but you would pay, $10,000, $15,000, and then you got to go on these special missions. It was Tim Ballard's way of raising money. That's like, this whole thing is so fucking shitty when you look back at it. And again, I just want to advocate one more time for the Maloof Foundation. The Maloof Foundation is based in northern Utah. They actually address trafficking. They're an actual nonprofit. They're not profiting off this, and they do a lot of cool things. Like, they work with door-to-door salesmen, and they train them to identify the signs of trafficking and abuse. And so when door-to-door salesmen are trained to look for warning signs, because they're knocking on doors all day, they learn to be reporters. And it's brought down. I don't know how many. I think hundreds now at this point. People have been saved from trafficking because of door-to-door salesmen who were trained. So there's these great foundations in Utah. You don't have to do work with Operation Underground Railroad, but Operation Underground Railroad was acting as a business. You can go watch. There's a whole presentation Tim Ballard did about like how he was going to monetize Operation Underground Railroad and how he was going to become a millionaire, and he did. And he became a millionaire, and then he was going to run for Senate, and then he was going to run for president. It was all a plan. It was a plan for him to get rich and then get power. So it's not shocking. Nobody should be shocked that he was abusing his power when his entire goal was to get power the whole time. The movie he made was fake. It's the story of that movie is not real. From those who have gone on rescues, they say that the depiction of the rescue itself not accurate. That's not how the rescues were. It wasn't Tim Ballard going in, fighting people, sneaking around. It was literally like using law enforcement that was there in that area. They would basically just act, because everybody knew who law enforcement was. So they basically just acted as undercover agents for the law enforcement to get people to commit crimes, and then law enforcement would come in and arrest them. It was never what Tim Ballard made it seem to be, but that's not a good movie. Nobody's watching that movie, right? So you create a fake story, you base it around a real person, but not her real story. Like, they never found that girl. That girl came to them when she was 19, after she had already escaped her trafficking situation. They had nothing to do with her gaining her freedom. We're talking about Tim Ballard and the movie what is it called? Something for Sounds of Freedom, an Operation Underground Railroad. Sorry about that. You can look it up. I dropped the Jimmy Rex thing in the Discord. Actually, I just sent it to Jen, and that's it. So maybe Jen will put it in the Discord. There you go, Jen. Thank you, Jen. I DM'd it to Jen instead of putting it in the Discord. It's fine. It's fine. Everybody's used to that. All right. Next, this is crazy. No op today. Guerrilla Radio is our only op today. That's pretty wild. Where's this? Jen will put up a message here with like a siren. Just message her and she'll send you a link to the Discord. We'd love to have you in there. This is according to Newsweek, multiple sources on this. Trump attorney Alina Habba may have made up a fake person to push her arguments in the former president's defamation case. In a Tuesday letter to the judge presiding over the defamation trial, Carol's attorney, Roberta Kaplan, raised her concerns that Habba used a fake person to promote her accusations that she and the judge had a conflict of interest. If you're not familiar with this, Alina Habba essentially said that there was a conflict of interest between Roberta Kaplan and Judge Kaplan because Judge Kaplan was her mentor. It's not true. It's Judge Kaplan was a partner. She was a junior associate. They never worked directly, and there were like over 1,000 attorneys that worked there. There's no truth to what she's saying. But a day earlier, Haba demanded Judge Kaplan provide all of the relevant facts related to an alleged mentorship between him and Carol's lawyer. The federal judge and attorney had previously both worked at Paul Weiss Rifkind, Wharton, and Garrison law firm in Manhattan. That's a name. Paul Rice, Rifkin, Wharton, and Garrison law firm in Manhattan during the early 1990s. The allegations came after, well, we'll go there. In a Tuesday letter denying her accusations, Carol's lead counsel said that she was most concerned about where Haba received the information of an alleged conflict of interest, suggesting that the Trump attorney made up a fake source. Both the New York Post and Miss Haba purport to cite the recollections of an unnamed partner at Paul Weiss. That partner, if he even exists, clearly has a very flawed memory about events that occurred 3 decades ago. Haba claimed in a Monday letter that the alleged relationship would have impacted the trial, saying that it played a major factor in the judge displayed preferential treatment towards plaintiff's counsel. Like, Alina Haba has no interest in keeping her law license. This is it. This is her swan song. No attorney acts like this. She's using an unnamed source, and she's using that as an argument. In what court does that fly? An unnamed, unidentified source. And it showed, like, the record shows that there was no connection. So, but this unnamed source, another partner, somebody who was business partners with Judge Kaplan, made up a story about him mentoring her when there's no evidence. They never worked on a case together. Nobody else there remembers them working together. It was only a short overlap, I think less than a year. They overlapped there because then he went on to be a judge. Alina Haba is one of the most disgusting people ever to represent anybody prominent. Like, I can't remember of a more disgusting lawyer. Like, her willingness to lie, her willingness to step out and run campaign speeches, her willingness to ignore court orders is just, I've never seen anything like it. She walks out of court every single day and just lies about what's happening, and yet doesn't pass the sniff test. Does Whisper really think she's brilliant? Is that real? Somebody tell me that's not real. Well, I gotta open this soda and it might explode. Hold on. It didn't. By the way, these are great. These bubbly, sparkling coconut pineapple. It's delightful. Wait, Whisper really thinks that? Oh no. Is he here? We may have to address that. You guys are lying. He did not praise her for hours. You're lying. Where is he? Somebody find Whisper. Oh, so she conned the con man? Yeah, all right. Okay, if that's the argument, I'm not. Yeah, I really think, like, she's exiting law. Like, she's going to lose her law license. She's not going to be able to practice. Whisper's not feeling well. Whisper, why is everybody getting sick? Okay, that's fair. She may have conned the con man. That's possible. I think that's possible. I don't know if you have to be brilliant to do that. You just recognize that, like, you're a woman that Donald Trump is attracted to, and he has this thing where he has a problem. Like, if you keep kissing his ass, he's going to keep you around, because ultimately that's what matters to him. So maybe that's good. That's a good move by her. Good move by her, but it's disgusting what she does. Like, it's making a mockery of our justice system, and it sucks because Donald Trump gets all the preferential treatment in the world. Like, nobody else's attorney would be allowed to do that. Nobody else would be able to act like he acted in court. None of that would work. So, Bobby, I see you. I talked to Felice last night. I want to bring you up one of these days when we can have, like, a structured conversation. I enjoyed your live yesterday, by the way. And so I'm gonna DM you. Felice is just out today. She's taking care of some family stuff, and so I want to wait till she's around, and we'll do. I want to do something on immigration and on the border. There's another person that we want to bring on as well. Maybe have a round table. How proof that lie, D-boy? I like Jeff Landry. Where's Jeff Landry? I like that. Is there any MAGA in here that we're trolling, or is this just all 660? Okay, we are low today. It's not a MAGA day. Takes a strong man to be a Republican. It takes a very weak, low information, low testicular fortitude man to be a Republican. The softest men on earth are Republicans. I can't think of a single strong man who's a Republican. There's nothing admirable about being a Republican. There we go. And it worked. Come on up.
All right. Hopefully you can hear me okay.
Loud and clear.
So I think it actually takes a really strong man to be a Republican. I mean, you're walking down the street, you see homeless people, kids are starving.
You got me. I knew it.
And you walk to work and you say, hell no. I don't care about them. I care about my employer. I want to work overtime, not get paid. I don't want benefits. I don't think we should be giving tax rebates to kids, If they don't pay taxes, they shouldn't get anything.
That's right.
It takes a strong man to walk and say, Donald Trump, he's a serial abuser, and I support him. I don't care what anybody thinks.
Yeah, I hear it. You son of a bitch. You got me. This post is drowning in liberal tears. This is not a post. This is a live, my friend. This is it. And I was laughing. Well, you can come up. You got me, you fucking asshole. Yeah, it's true. Tiffany is singing your praises. I promise I'll bring it. That was well done. Well done. Whisper. Okay, Whisper has left his bed. I just gotta know. Can you jump in the box real quick? You've been slandered. I just want you to know you've been slandered here. And I didn't want to believe it. What's up, dude? I've been told that you think Alina Habba is brilliant. That's what it's being. They're saying that you spent hours telling everybody how brilliant Alina Habba was.
Hours.
Not hours. How long? How much time?
A few minutes talking about how I think she's actually conning Donald Trump.
You sound like shit, by the way. You sound terrible.
Not feeling good today. I'm not doing my live today.
Okay. All right. So the idea is that she saw an opportunity and she took it and she conned him.
Yeah, I think she absolutely did. Have you seen her speak? The way that she presented evidence was uncharacteristic of her law firm. She has her own law firm, and she's one of the only lawyers that got paid up front.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and she was not a regular attorney. She in the courtroom she just acted as a campaign manager. I agree with that.
Yeah, so I think she absolutely conned him. I think she's looking to get out of her own firm and maybe move into something like Yeah.
Well, look, that exit is gonna be readily available to her because she's gonna her bar license is going to be in question.
I think she knew that. I think
I think so too.
She went full commit on the case with zero evidence. I don't think she failed to submit evidence in the proper manner. I don't think he had any.
Yeah.
She's just like, this is what we'll do. And then I called it right after that. I was like, that she's going to try to find some sort of corruption connection on this judge. Next thing you know,
she did her best.
Next thing you know, it's Kaplan was the other attorney's the other Kaplan's mentor.
Yeah, that was the story we just covered there. That's a weak ass story there too. All right. Well, look, I think what you said is sensible, but I'm gonna talk shit behind your back and just keep spreading the rumor that you think she's a brilliant attorney. I'm gonna keep that rumor going, and hopefully that'll get you some MAGA to come see you in your live when you get over whatever you have. Sounds like whatever it is. It sounds like you're not gonna make it.
I'll make sure to let everybody know every time I can that you're still a simp for Lauren Boebert.
Goddamn right. All right, dude, get better.
I'll work it out. Yeah, we won't.
See ya. God, he sounded like shit. That was rough. I thought I sounded bad. Oh, what is this? You're gonna show up when Felice isn't here? Oh, that's gutsy.
Give me 1 second.
Sure. We're pulling out all the stuff. Oh God, no.
Love me. Get a grip.
I heard you were calling for me yesterday, and I heard you went live and you were calling for me.
I was calling for everybody, baby, until my account got banned.
That quick, huh?
I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it, and I was doing it on purpose because I was just saying things that you can, because honestly, you can't really speak the full truth here on TikTok. At least not the Republicans' version of the truth. You get
you mean lies? Yeah.
Hang on. It's perspective of what you think the truth is. I sit here and I've been listening to you for, especially more intently now because I kind of got off TikTok. I've actually been watching your tactics, and I think you're great. I think you're a great debater, but the same things you dog out Republicans for like Trump's son, his business dealings, this and that, you'll turn around in the same breath and make an excuse for Joe Biden or the Democrats, or you'll just
Trump's son is Don Jr. accused of something?
No, like in the sense of like think of, like if for example, if Hunter was, or not Hunter, but Junior was accused of these business dealings and creating the company, like you would hold a completely different energy for that, right?
I think like 20 minutes ago I said that Hunter Biden is a criminal, and that I'm not surprised that he's acting like a criminal. I think that's a pretty. That's pretty rational.
Right. No, and not in the sense of like not whether he's a criminal or not, just in like your take on it and how it doesn't implicate Joe Biden, right?
Well, it doesn't.
It doesn't though. Sure, you can't prove it, right? Maybe you can't prove it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, we're talking about experienced people who are experienced in covering up their trail. That doesn't mean they didn't do it just because you can't prove it. Like, especially in politics.
But even that part, like when you say Joe Biden's experienced in covering up his trail, like what did he cover up? Besides,
I'm just saying he probably covered up emails, phone calls. I don't know exactly what he covered up. I mean, do you think do you think Joe Biden is squeaky clean?
Yeah, I do.
You do? Okay. I mean, then let's just move on to because I mean, if you genuinely think that, like, dude, like, come on,
well,
man.
If you look
You're
at
better
it,
than me.
There's never been an accusation against him, and people across the aisle like loved him. Literally, Lindsey Graham saying there's not a better man in Washington.
Lindsey Graham? Yeah, okay.
Like,
if Lindsey Graham said that, hang on. If Lindsey Graham said that about Trump, would you like take that and run with it?
No, but can I play
exactly.
it for you and show
So I don't know why you'd use the Lindsey Graham.
If Lindsey Graham said this about Donald Trump, sure, but the difference is there's evidence against Donald Trump. Like, I don't have to take Lindsey Graham's word for it, and I'm not taking Lindsey Graham's word for it. I'm saying there's zero of all the times people have tried to bring stuff up against him, zero evidence. There has never been a single solitary piece of evidence that even looks like he committed a crime.
I mean, there's definitely some stuff out there that looks like he committed a crime, but it's really hard to tell your ass from your elbow out there these days. Especially
what crime do you think he committed?
What crime? I think he's an influence peddler. I think he's beholden to China.
Crime, right?
I mean, I think that he's exposing America to a very dangerous precedent of like kowtowing to other nations that might not have a benefit for the American people. Stuff like that.
So none of those are crimes, though.
It's not a look. We're getting into the weeds about this, right?
You remember what the weeds? No, it's no things.
Here's my original point, right?
Hold on. You're saying
just hold a different energy.
Hold on, Jeff. Hold on. You're saying things about him that you don't like, and you and I disagree with what you're saying. But the things that you're talking about are your political opinions on things that are totally legal, but you don't like them, and that's fine. Like, that's where politics, like, that's the discussion we can have about, like, is it good or is it bad? But I'm saying you can't even accuse him of a crime. I asked what crime, and you named a bunch of things that aren't crimes.
Okay. I'm not hung up on whether he committed a crime or not. Honestly, I could care less. Right. My point was, I'm giving you a critique into the way you debate, like, just as an outsider who doesn't have as like, I'm still probably going to be a Republican and vote Trump. But, I do have a pretty, and I've watched some of you do, like, you and Felice will have some, like, sometimes non-biased, like, you'll bring in bits and pieces of information that are good, that always don't, like, fit your narrative. But, like, at the end of the day, you're willing to, like, jump through every hoop to make it look like the Democrats are doing good. And then on the same hand, you're willing to jump through every hoop to make the Republicans look bad. It just seems a little biased.
What Democrat do you think I, like, have tried to make look good? I don't.
Two people call me at once.
Like I certainly have bias, but I can't think of a single Democrat that I've like purposely tried like jumped through hoops to make look good. I don't even think Joe Biden looks good. I'm just saying, like, if you're going to say he's a criminal, show me what crime he committed.
Yeah, okay, criminal aside, that really wasn't my point. I don't want to go down that whole rabbit. So what I came up here to talk about was the Alina Hobbit. I think this is a good example. First, I wanted to anchor my point about you jumping through hoops, right? You know I still love you, right? I'm coming through and for a place to love. And
yeah,
then,
don't take it personally. You're good.
Exactly. Anyway, and then the second point was now a good example is when you talk about Alina Hava, right? You said that. What's your source when you said that she came out and lied about the source that she had? Like, how are you making this?
So the claim is it appears she may have lied because nobody can figure out who this source is, and the story isn't true. Like, there's no evidence that this story is true. So the highlight the headline was it appears she may have lied. That's a fair to say she absolutely lied is one thing, but to say it appears that she may have lied, I don't think that's biased. I don't think it's dishonest. I think it's an accurate depiction of the actual story.
You could say that about anybody, and all it is at the end of the day is just a smear campaign against her, right?
No, because then she came back and she's like, never mind, drop it. Like when they asked her to provide evidence, she's like, never mind.
When they asked her to provide evidence, what do you mean?
Yeah, so Roberta Kaplan, E. Jean Carroll's lawyer, responded to the court. Like, you address the court, right? So Alina Haba addresses the court and says, like, we need information on this, on these connections. We have an unnamed source who says that Judge Kaplan was a mentor to Roberta Kaplan. And Roberta Kaplan basically came and said, like, look, we want to know who the source is on this then, because I didn't work with Judge Kaplan. Judge Kaplan says we didn't work together. Nobody we've talked to says that they made that claim. There's no cases we've worked on together. There's no connection at all. We want her to provide like what she's basing that on, because she's making that argument to try and show bias to get the verdict thrown out. So if you're going to make a claim like that, it's your job to, like, you can't make a claim without evidence and then ask Roberta Kaplan to prove that you're wrong. It works the other way, right? Alina Haba made the claim, so Roberta Kaplan now responding saying, like, okay, if you make a claim, you've got to provide evidence. And when asked for evidence, she's like, never mind.
Okay, I don't think she said never mind. What was her like exact response to that? Because you're saying these are just court
letter. Yeah, I'm obviously paraphrasing.
Right. So but the thing, you see how you're kind of like connecting the dots, like it as a lawyer, right? This is the smart, like, think about if Trump wins in 2024. This is the smartest move she could have ever made, right? She's going to be put, but it's also a burden and a challenge, because when anybody defends Trump, here comes the smear campaigns, and then here comes all the media on the tailcoats riding that wake, making you look bad. You know what I mean? Because obviously, legacy media works against Trump.
Look, I think you're right that she saw this as an opportunity, but not as an opportunity to be taken seriously as a lawyer. The way she operated in the courtroom and the amount of times she had to be told, like, that you're not allowed to do that. She didn't seem to know what she was doing. And she either didn't know or she did know and she was playing a role. It's one of those two things.
When did she not know what she was doing? What do you mean?
So she kept trying to submit evidence, right? And she kept trying to submit testimony. And the judge had to keep telling her, no, you can't submit new evidence on the claim of sexual assault, because this trial is not about sexual abuse. This is not a sexual abuse trial. This is a defamation trial. The sexual abuse portion has already been decided on. You cannot relitigate that. In a civil trial, you can't relitigate it. But she kept trying to bring evidence to argue that he did not sexually abuse her. And she had to be reprimanded multiple times. Times.
Actually, the evidence, are you talking about the tweets, right?
I'm talking about when he was under oath, and when she would question people about the charge of sexual abuse, right? but she's not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to bring up evidence of a charge that has already been settled. They weren't relitigating that. And she kept trying to relitigate that, and she wasn't allowed to.
Wait, then hang on, because now you're saying two different things. So you're saying that during the trial, she's right. Well, I'm understanding two different things here. So you're saying she brought evidence, right? But now you're saying, well, she's interviewing a witness, right? Asking questions under oath, right?
Yep.
Okay, how is that bringing forth, like, if any? So all that you're saying that the opposing the prosecution.
I'm saying she's doing both of those things, not that they're the same thing. I'm saying she's doing both of those things.
Right. Okay. That's what I'm trying to say. Exactly. So, which is this? When she's questioning the witness, right, and asking questions. Now, if she asks a question,
she's not allowed to ask those questions.
Who's is the judge standing up and saying, no, I object to your questions?
Yeah,
or
the
is
judge
the
was
other
literally
the
judge was
that's
literally,
not a judge's job. It's the other lawyer's job.
Wait, no, it's exactly the judge's job.
No, the judge is to sit there and referee between and give a good guideline to what correct law should be, but he takes his critiques from the lawyers.
No. Do you think the judge has to wait for an objection in order to intervene? Is that what you're saying?
No, absolutely not. But it's going to look biased if he does intervene.
It doesn't matter if it looks
exactly
biased.
happening.
I don't care if it looks biased. I don't care.
Exactly. You don't care, dude. In a court of law, the most important thing is the idea
evidence.
of non-bias.
No evidence.
No,
evidence is the most
idea
important thing.
of non-partiality.
No, evidence.
Non-biased
Evidence
judges.
is the most important thing.
Okay. Would you also agree that being non-biased and non-partial is also
he wasn't
kind of
biased? See, you guys.
Hang on, you're not answering the question. Whoa, RTB, you didn't answer the question. Do you think that being a biased judge is a good or a bad thing?
If they're biased towards the law, then it's a good thing. If they're biased towards their opinion of the plaintiff or the defendant, it's a bad thing. But he was biased towards the law, so it's a good thing.
I'm just going to say he was biased towards against Trump using.
But you're wrong. But you don't have any evidence of that.
Now look,
I have evidence that that Alina Habba was not following the law when she tried to.
You haven't produced any evidence. RTB, you haven't produced not one shred of evidence.
I just did.
Telling me something is not giving me evidence, buddy.
Well, it wasn't recorded, so then there's never going to be evidence.
Oh, it wasn't recorded. Oh, okay, cool.
No, you understand it wasn't a public hearing, right?
But aren't they still transcribed? Like there's going to be.
Yeah, do you want? Well, it was reported. We don't even have transcripts.
So you got to wait. You have to wait to see what it actually is going to be, or you can't come to that judgment.
No, we don't, because she wasn't allowed to make those. She confirmed it. She has come out and said the judge wouldn't let me present our case.
Right, I agree.
And she said the only defense we had, he wouldn't let us present. But that's the thing. Like she's not
because
allowed
it's a biased judge, is what her point is.
No,
would you agree,
Jeff? No, because that's the law.
No, again, but what was her point by saying that? Why would she come out and say that? Right?
Because she's
trying to muddy the water.
She's speaking to you. She's speaking to MAGA. She's trying to convince you guys.
She's speaking to the general public.
The reason that you guys, the reason that Trump lost was not because he was guilty, but because of bias. And let me just explain. Now, here's the rest of this letter from Alina Habba. You asked what she said. Dear Judge Kaplan, I write in response to the letter submitted earlier today by Roberta Kaplan. Ms. Kaplan mischaracterizes the substance of a letter recently submitted on behalf of Donald Trump. Contrary to Ms. Kaplan's contention, there are no false allegations of a mentor-mentee relationship between Your Honor and Ms. Kaplan contained in January 29th letter. The purpose of the letter was simply to inquire as to whether there is any merit to a recently published New York Post story which reported on the alleged existence of such relationship. To be clear, this claim was originated solely from the New York Post, where it was purportedly sourced from a former Paul Weiss partner who asked not to be named. I played no part in uncovering this information, have never communicated with unnamed Paul Weiss partner, and have no personal knowledge as to whether the information contained in the article is true or false. As I stated in my January 29th letter, I learned for the first time about the purported mentor-mentee relationship from the New York Post. Although I am quoted in the article, my statements were given in response to the reporter's request for comment, which, per the article, was sought from Kaplan, Hecker, and Fink. To the point of my January 29th letter was to verify whether the information contained in the New York Post article is accurate. Since Ms. Kaplan has now denied that there was ever a mentor-mentee relationship between herself and Your Honor, this issue has seemingly been resolved.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so you see what's happening here.
That's what I said. No, do you understand? What I said is she sent a letter about this mentor-mentee relationship, and she did that, and everybody reported it. New York Post reported that it was true. She sent a letter then to the judge. Roberta Kaplan responded, said there's no merit to this. I would want evidence of this, like if somebody said it. And she came back and she said, oh, I don't have evidence of this. It's just what I heard.
New York. Hang on. What she said in that letter, correct me if I'm wrong, was that she garnered the information from the New York Post, New York Post, and then sent a letter inquiring about it. And then they said no. That's it. So how does that make her a bad lawyer?
I didn't say that made her a bad lawyer. Wait, I didn't say that made her a bad lawyer.
No, you said she's the worst, terrible person. Dude, you totally insulted her.
Oh, no, she's a terrible lawyer, but not because of that. What I was saying, when I brought up that, it's that there's no defense for Donald Trump, right? And now they're literally trying, like, any sort of defense to get it thrown out.
Well, that's like
no good lawyer, by the way. No good lawyer would ask for a clarification like this without evidence. No good lawyer would rely on a single source, like third party. By the way, she's hearing it from somebody else who heard it from somebody else. No good lawyer would ever even try and submit that as evidence. But the reason she submitted that letter is because she wanted this, and Donald Trump, in my opinion, they wanted this in the news. And by the way, I've had multiple people DM me. I've had multiple people in this live today commenting that Judge Kaplan and Roberta Kaplan were buddy, and it was biased. This went around. That's how misinformation works. You put it out there first so that it helps Donald Trump's public perception that he got fucked over. Nobody ever goes back and catches the correction.
Okay, let me summarize
this. It's manipulative.
For you. Perfect. Let me summarize so you understand, RTP. So all that's happening here is now there's media outlets that want Trump to win. They're not all against him like they all used to be.
The New York Post always wanted Trump to win. I don't know what you're talking about. The New York Post has been in his pocket since day one.
Okay, fine. So
okay, and they wait. By the way, the New York Post. Just to be clear, the New York Post who gave this story without confirming the source, like the source said something and they printed the story. They didn't.
That's what source. They all do.
No, wait, hold on.
They all do that, and they've done it to smear Trump.
Jeff,
why wouldn't you do that to them?
Jeff, you're wrong. You're wrong. About what? They get multiple sources. This is the same outlet who published the story about Hunter Biden's laptop and didn't get a second source. And the reason they were the only one to post it is because everybody else said we need a second source. They refused to post it without a second source. The person who wrote the story said, let's not publish the story. If you're going to publish this story, New York Post, take my name off of the story. I will not put my name next to a story that only has one source. We need multiple sources. The New York Post has been doing the bidding of Donald Trump repeatedly. They do it all the time. But they are the only legitimate news source who is consistently putting out stuff like this with one source, one unnamed source. And every time, it turns out, they were wrong.
This is just a benefit to Trump and Alina Habba in their case, right? And this is the same thing.
Not in the case. Politically, it's good. No, wait, it's not good.
They already lost the case.
Hang on. They already lost the case.
No, they haven't. It's going to get appealed. No, they haven't. It's going to get appealed.
They lost the case.
No, they haven't. It's going to get appealed. It's not over yet. But sure, they lost that case, but let's see what happens in the appeal. And he could lose the appeal too.
I agree with that, but this case is over. The appeal will not. It's over. The appeal will not be. Wait, hold on. The appeal will not be in front of Judge Kaplan. So why are you petitioning Judge Kaplan if he is not going to be the judge on your appeal? This was a media stunt.
We agree that it was a media stunt, and there's nothing wrong with that. You guys do it all the time too.
I didn't say there was anything wrong with that.
Exactly. So we're on the same page with that.
No, my claim about Alina Habba and about Donald Trump is that they didn't actually have a defense. There was no defense. They never offered any defense of any of this. All that they tried to do is relitigate the case, which they're not allowed to do, and then also claim presidential immunity. Alina Habba might be brilliant.
You're not going to have a defense in a kangaroo court, RTP.
And Alina Habba might be brilliant, and maybe she just was like, look, Donald, you're going to lose this case, but we'll try and build up your public perception. Maybe that's what she did, and that's why she did it this way. But she did not present a case. I don't know on what grounds do you?
How do you know? RTP, you don't even know.
On what grounds do you think this appeal would work?
But I don't even understand how you know it was a privately. You don't even know what case she did or didn't present. Like you're making all these like claims based off like as if you were there and you know what she was arguing.
No, I've read the
reports exactly.
But wait, hold on. But Jeff,
yeah.
If I read a report and Alina Habba confirms it, there's my two sources. I feel comfortable then saying it's true. If the court reporters report something and Alina Habba confirms it, which she absolutely did, I could play you the clip of her saying that she wanted to bring up that Donald Trump was denied the sexual abuse charge, and the judge told her she could not argue that. That's exactly what was reported, and Alina Habba backed that up. So I'm reporting accurately, unless Alina Habba is lying too.
Right. No, look, to me, and probably to 50% of Americans, it's a kangaroo court, a judge that isn't going to let him have a fair trial. And this is your guys' fault.
No, Jeff,
this is why people think this.
Jeff,
it's because you guys have been unfairly, hang on. You guys have been unfairly prosecuting Donald Trump.
Jeff, no, we can't go there
yet. Hey,
RTP,
did you see my golf swing, by the way? I got to get going. Did you see my golf swing?
It's terrible. It's bad.
Dude, what's wrong with it?
It's pretty bad. I'll talk to you offline about that. But let me explain.
Wait, what's the farthest? Hang on, what's the farthest you hit a ball? I'm curious.
Like carry or total?
Yeah, no, like just farthest. Like, what's the biggest? Like, I was working on my drive right now. I'm trying to get it like.
I mean, I've hit some drives over 350.
Oh damn!
My carry numbers like around 290 to 300, depending on the weather. But that's not important. And in the summer, that carry number is like 315, 320.
Yeah, give me some pointers.
Here.
I'm trying to break.
But hold on, Jeff. Here's something that we have to agree on in this discussion, because everybody agrees on this. Alina Habba agrees on it. Donald Trump agrees on it. Like, everybody agrees on this because it's just the law. If you have a civil case, like they did, they had a civil case, and Donald Trump was found liable for sexual abuse and defamation, right? So that case was settled, and they're appealing. That case was finalized, and they are appealing that case. So they're appealing the ruling that he sexually abused E. Jean Carroll and that he defamed her. Now, this court case, the only charge was defamation, right? So because the only charge is defamation, that's the only thing he's being charged with in this case, he's not allowed to relitigate a case that had a different judge, a different jury, and different attorneys. So the judge is not being unfair by saying you can't relitigate a case that I have no jurisdiction over. The judge is correctly saying, you can't relitigate a case that I have no jurisdiction over. I can't rule on that. I can't overturn that. The only thing I'm allowed by law to rule on is this defamation case. So you can only talk about the charges that E. Jean Carroll brought, and that was defamation. So that's why she wasn't allowed to go relitigate that case. That's just the law. There's no bias there. The bias would be allowing them to relitigate that case, allowing them to ignore the law and relitigate the case. The judge did the right thing. But and when Alina Habba says, like, the judge wouldn't let us use our only defense, fine. If your only defense is relitigating a case that judge had nothing to do with, well, then I'm sorry, you don't have a defense. And that's what it turned out to be. They didn't actually have a defense for the defamation. And they'll appeal this one too, but it wasn't unfair by the judge.
Look, and that wasn't even really my argument. Look, again, I'm looking at the big picture. It just seems like they're trying to use lawfare to get Trump to lose in 2020. That's what it seems like, but that's just me. Anyway, gotta get going.
Isn't that the right way to do it? To use
lawfare, not to let see when the justice system no longer they're blindfolded and they're going after just Trump. That's a problem.
Wait, but the problem is your evidence for that is that the Justice Department keeps charging him with things. But unfortunately, juries are agreeing. So, like, in order for you to say it's a weaponized or like a biased Justice Department, we got to understand there like multiple conservative judges, multiple juries, like multiple grand juries. They've all ruled against him. Like all this stuff that you guys think is unfair, like it's not like it's Nancy Pelosi's best friend, like that's the judge that's ruling on all these things. Like he's lost cases in front of conservative judges. They've provided evidence in front of juries, and the juries are the ones that are saying he's guilty. So I don't know. Like it seems like a really lazy take on your part to blame the Justice Department when there's all these other people who were involved who are saying he's guilty. They're looking at the evidence and they're saying he's guilty. You can't just blame the Justice Department.
I'm not blaming the justice. I'm blaming the politics and the shady people behind all the dealings. But
the crazy thing is, only one group is bringing in politics. There has been nothing political about any of the
RTP,
charges.
you're trying to prolong. I gotta get going.
Donald Trump is running on, but Donald Trump's defense is, you're all picking on me because this is political. Show me the evidence that it's political.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely. I honestly, they just sent me another call. I was going to sit here and talk with you till 12:30.
Good, brother.
I do have to get going.
All right,
thanks, man.
Yeah,
shoot me a text on my swing. Thanks.
Yeah, DM me about that. I'll forget. There we go. Like, do you see the? First of all, I like the new Jeff. I like the new Jeff. New Jeff is better. But you see time and time again, like the defense. What's the defense at this point? The defense is everybody hates him and it's unfair. But when you get down into the evidence, when you go over it, it's pretty clear that these are fair trials. And in fact, the first E. Jean Carroll trial was remarkably unfair towards E. Jean Carroll. The stuff they allowed Trump and his attorneys to get away with in that trial are insane because. And Goron was afraid. He was afraid of being called biased. And that's the thing with Trump, is that if you fear him and you react in a way, if you give him a little more room, it's like, you know that story of that old, I don't know if you want to call it a parable, but the snake, right? The guy's crossing the river and he sees a snake that's drowning and he pulls up next to the snake and he's like, hey, the snake's like, help me. He's like, I can't help you because you're going to bite me. And the snake's like, no, I promise I won't. I'm drowning. Help me. Just get me safely to shore. And I promise I won't bite you. And the guy's like, you promise? Yeah, I promise. And then he gets the snake and he puts it in the boat and he gets to shore and they step off onto the shore and the snake bites him. And he's like, what the fuck? Like, why did you bite me? He's like, I'm a snake. What did you think I was going to do? That's Donald Trump. When Donald Trump says, like, when you give him an inch, when you say like, okay, well, I'm gonna overcorrect so that I don't look politically biased, he's still going to call you politically biased when he loses. When you sustain an objection from the prosecutor, he's going to call you biased. He's the snake. He's never, like, you can't give him an inch. And Judge Kaplan handled this case beautifully. He said, look, I'm going to force you guys to keep the rules. You're not allowed to shout shit out. You're not allowed to be on the stand and just yell things that don't have to do with the case. You're not allowed to call him President Donald Trump. His name is Donald John Trump. Look at the legal documents. I'm not going to let you play these games. And Republicans are like, oh, that's political bias. No, the political bias was in Goron. And Goron giving him that leeway and then still getting smeared. I'm sure Goron's learned his lesson. Like, you don't give Donald Trump anything. Because no matter what, at the end, if it doesn't go his way, he's going to smear you. And the people that follow him are going to smear you too. Doesn't matter. They care about one thing and one thing only, outcome. And even if Donald Trump was exonerated, they would be like, yeah, he was exonerated, even though the judge was against him. You can't run a court like a TikTok Live. We should. All courts should be on TikTok Live. No coins, though. No coins for the courts. It's Donald Jimothy Trump. That's right. Sometimes I think about having another child, having a baby boy, just so I can name a boy Jimothy. I've heard it both ways. Where are we at? 12:34. What do we have? HVAC is here. What do you guys think about the new HVAC? What do you guys think about the new HVAC? It's an improved version. Like, we have to at least admit it's an improved version of HVAC, right? It's a little more palatable. He's doing a better job. And he doesn't seem to, man, the fact that we were able to have a conversation and mostly stay on subject, I feel like that doesn't pass the smell test. Yes. We got to make a shirt. I don't know if Whisper's still here. We may need to, actually, I'll design one here in a little bit. We got to do a smell test shirt. That's got to happen. We have to do that. Would you guys raise your hand if you would want a smell test shirt? Let's get some ideas. Would anybody want doesn't pass the smell test shirt? He's so calm now. The time away made him the easiest of the regulars. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. He is. There we go. Yeah, there's some. Yeah, okay. I think it's a good idea. I'll talk to Whisper after this. I think Jeff's TikTok break was spent. Oh, no, I can't say that. Just Kim. Maybe Kim. Maybe. The merch shop is in. Oh shit! I probably don't have it in my bio on this one. I'm not sure if it's in my bio on this one, but if you go to my main account at RTP Talks, there's a link for merchandise, and Whisper and I will talk after this about designing something and get that out there. With a pit, yeah. Obviously, we're gonna have to use Ernie, and we're gonna have to use. Well, as long as we don't put it on the website, we can use a little bootlegged version. I'm gonna work on that after we're done here. Here was a fun story about Donald Trump and the way that they use money. This is from the New York Times. I already have a shirt, don't need to. Well, you're getting a second one. Stop saying dumb shit. Donald Trump piled up legal expenses in 2023 as he was indicted 4 times, spending approximately $50 million in donor money on legal bills. Mr. Billionaire is not paying his own legal bills, as we've mentioned a million times, but we now know in 2023 it was $50 million. And what did that get him? 3 verdicts of liability. 3 verdicts being liable. And we're looking at court cases upcoming where his defense is, I can do whatever I want. Hey, somebody boot Viola Martinez. We will not take Niner slander here. No more Niner slander. That's enough. I dedicated a whole morning to Taylor Swift and to Travis Kelce defending them. I've done my part. For the rest of the week, it's fuck the Chiefs, okay? For the rest of the week, this is a Niner hangout. So Chadness can go too. Gorilla, you can obviously go. Tiger Lady out. K-Dude, go Swifts. That's funny. You can stay because that was funny. Where are we at? WRTV. Sean Cunning, MVP of the day. Sky Monkey out. Taylor gonna win the Super Bowl. That's funny. You can stay. Ocean of Love out. Bang Bang, Kristen, Niner Gang. That's right. Go Red Wings. Hockey's a thing. I don't know if they're any good or not. Go Mr. Pfizer. That's funny. You can stay. Taylor Swift Chiefs. You can stay. All the 40. Taylor Swift MP. You can stay. What did that say? Weak men vote. Full stop. What is that? Mr. G, weak men vote, full stop. I don't know. I'm having a hard time recognizing when I'm being trolled today. So if that's a real opinion, that's unfucking believable. If it's a troll, it's a pretty good troll. Go Broncos. Yeah. Yeah. How'd that? You guys still loving old Russell Wilson out there in Bronco country? He's still doing it for you? I'm neutral. That's fine. You can say Taylor for the bowl win and president all in the same year. All right. I like that we're calling it a bowl win. All right, weak. Who is crying about civil war? I think a strong man would stay out of civil war. I think it takes a strong man to not go to war. That shows restraint. It shows the ability to use your brain. It shows the ability to problem solve. I don't think you guys know what strong is. I feel bad for conservative men who have this idea. Like, here's the thing about being strong. If you think it's important to be physically strong and like that's what it means, like that's your identity, I hate to break it, like at some point you won't be strong. And then you're going to, like right now you're stupid and strong, but then you'll be stupid and weak. And that's tough. Like you can get through life for a while being stupid and strong, but being stupid and weak, that's a real problem. And so when you lose your strength, whether it happens in an accident or just because you get old, eventually, like you're going to get to a place in your life where you're kind of just a nothing, because everything you built your life around is gone, and you didn't do anything about your brain. You just let that mush around while you listen to Korn and work out at the gym. Nothing against gyms, a little bit against Korn. I'm not a big fan of Korn, but I bet that's like what Fax listens to is Korn. Chiefs fans will tap string. All right, listen, where are we at? 2:06. What can we get to? 12:40. We got 20 minutes. Can you get 100,000 likes in 20 minutes? Can we do that? If we do 100,000 likes in 20 minutes, I will host. If we get over 300,000, then either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday night, I'll host a live. I'll host a night live on the weekend. I will sacrifice a weekend night and we'll hang out if we do that. Rory King is very interesting. She's Rory King for the W. Shit, you guys are going to do this no problem. Son of a bitch. That's so fast. God damn it. Oh no. All right. Well, we're hosting a live on the weekend. That sucks. All right, let's go back. We'll cover some Mayorkas stuff. Or... we can go back to James Comer. Let's go to James Comer. Let's keep it on. 400K gets all weekend. What do I have? Friday night. Saturday night. Saturday night, I think I'm busy. All right, 500K. 500K, you get 2 nights. We'll do 2 nights at 500K. I don't even know why I'm doing this. Doesn't even really help me that much, but I appreciate it. All right, James Comer. Let's get back to him. Let's just we talked about this. Is he mad about the T-shirt? Hey, listen, keep complaining about it loudly. Put it in all caps, Guerrilla Radio. That's only going to help sales. That'll be good. If it's a day that ends in Y, this is from Ian Sams. If it's a day that ends in Y, James Comer is hauling in a witness who refutes the House GOP's made-up Biden impeachment allegations. This is from Annie Grayer from CNN. Biden business associate Eric Schwerwin, who performed bookkeeping for then VP Biden, says he witnessed no evidence Biden benefited from or was involved in Hunter's business deals, per opening statement provided first to CNN. This opening statement was then live, but he provided it to CNN. Schwerwin called GOP allegations preposterous. I had the ability, and here's his proof. I had the ability to view transactions both into and out of VP Biden's bank accounts. I am not aware of any financial transactions or compensation that VP Biden received related to business conducted by any of his family members or their associates, nor any involvement by him. Now remember, this was a GOP witness. This is somebody they said would come in and prove that Joe Biden was a criminal. Remember the SARS reports, the suspicious activity reports that the GOP was handed? Guess how many of those suspicious activity reports came from account either to or from Joe Biden? All right, 300K is done. 300. That was so fast. That was so fast. Thank you, guys. And here we go. Need to study fake LLCs with no products or services. That's Rico. Hey, brother, did you know I've had multiple LLCs that provided no services and no products. In fact, those LLCs were just ways for me to get paid from investments that I didn't do any work on. But my tax attorney told me that if I ran it through an LLC, I wouldn't pay as much in taxes. So I ran it through an LLC. See that? No product, no service, just me getting paid. And I ran it through an LLC. That's not what RICO is. RICO is racketeering. You guys don't know what words mean. Why do you say them so confidently? Why do you say things so confidently? Is it because it works? Like, I think this is what happens. I think because it works in the circles you run in. When you run in circles where it's just like circle jerk confirmation bias, you don't have to substantiate your claims because nobody ever asks you to. I'm not saying that same exact thing doesn't happen when I have a conversation with Felice. If we both know the evidence on something, we're not going to cite the evidence when we say it. But if somebody asks me to cite the evidence, if somebody asks me to explain it, then I can. And that's the real difference, is that you guys just sit around and say things that you've heard. And because you roll in echo chambers, which we've seen today, like there's no such thing as like a MAGA man who's willing to stand on their own brain. There's very few of them, mostly because they're too busy doing push-ups and they think that that's going to save the world. And they can't come up and defend a claim. But that's the problem with the MAGA claims is, what one of them is true? Can somebody tell me something? Let's try this. Can somebody, MAGA or not, just come up with a claim from the last 6 months that Republicans have made that was true? Somebody think of one? I'm trying to think of one. All I can't think of any either. Jen watched those. All right, we'll keep going with old James Comer here. Is this the same? This is basically the same story. Go to the next one. You guys have no idea. You do have an idea. This is way harder without Felice, though. Felice is so much better at this than I am. This is from Hannity's program. This is James Comer. This is what he says to Hannity, which is just absolutely beautiful.
Trust of Sherwin and his involvement in family affairs. Hunter also in 2018 apparently text revealed a deep distrust of Sherwin and his involvement in family affairs, and apparently owed Sherwin money. And Hunter, told his assistant that Sherwin whined that he owed him 30% of his income for 10 years. Then by 2019, the relationship deteriorated further. Did you get any information out of him regarding this?
No, all of the people that we brought in for depositions, they have a hard time remembering the bad things.
I'd only seen it in writing. I'd never heard him say it. We keep bringing in witnesses, and all they tell us is the good things. Nobody seems to know any bad things. It's devastating to our case. We're very frustrated that every time we bring somebody in, they don't say anything bad about Joe Biden. It's fucking devastating to our case. This is your guy. This is the guy that MAGA's like, hey, we're going to bring in James Comer, and we're going to have him lead impeachment. He's so good. He's so good at this. And now we have Laura Ingraham now also claiming that everything's unfair because that's what she does.
Oh, it's all a joke to them, right? So funny. And the media are playing right along or acting as unofficial co-counsels for the plaintiff. Of course, their overriding goal is to bankrupt Donald Trump into submission because he's vowing to drain the swamp for real, of course. I often wonder who else could endure what he's had to endure. The press aren't reporting on this through a critical lens. They're cheerleaders, and not just for the plaintiffs, but also for the prosecutors. Actually, to be more accurate, they're like vultures waiting to swoop down when it's all over.
Yeah, we're waiting for it to all be over. And then we're going to swoop down and we're going to tell all of you that we told you so. And we're going to ask nicely that you stop being fucking idiots and don't elect people like him anymore. And don't bring up people like him anymore for election because he's a criminal. It's ironic to me that Fox News continues every night to be like, the media, while they're running interference for Donald Trump. And that just goes to show you how dumb the audience is, right? Again, the media is reporting that Donald Trump is losing cases. He's losing. And Fox News is upset that instead of them just reporting that he's losing, that they're not reporting that it was unfair, that he lost because it was unfair. How are you going to blame the media for jury decisions? How's that the media's fault? Yeah, and by the way, Fox News, the most watched media, the number one watched media group of all the major news organizations, they get the most viewers. Now, and people used to be like, well, everybody was liberal. Well, now you got OAN. Now you have Newsmax. Now you have Right Side Broadcasting. You have all of them. And what do you have, CNN and MSNBC? The two? Those are the two? Like, what do you want, CNBC? You want to call that biased now too? That's fine. Like, it's ironic to me. Like, but they just know that the people on the other end of that TV are just waiting there like baby birds. Like, tell me how Daddy Trump was right and everybody's picking on us. Tell us what to be enraged about. Don't fucking screenshot that. God damn it. I know Koning's going to do that. God damn it. Why'd I do that? That's going to be a meme. Son of a bitch. I hate you guys. I know that's going to be a meme in like 2 seconds. But again, Republicans can show up in Congress every day and just get absolutely ass blasted on every claim that they make, every single one of them. And then they show up on Fox News and admit that none of their claims are working. And Fox News is like, yeah, no, but it's not working because of the media. Well, did the media come and testify to that Joe Biden did nothing wrong? Was that the media that did that? Was that the media? I don't remember. It was the media. All right, guys, slow down the tapping. No more tapping. No more tapping, son of a bitch. Oh, I hate you guys. I'm working all weekend. Listen, I say I hate you. Sorry, I turned my mic away. You guys are actually incredible. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for the support. That's wild. Some of you have to have fingers. No, Jen! What?
We did it, Jay!
Oh, great. And there's the meme. There's the mouth open meme. So why I can't be unsupervised? We need a delay. We need to figure out a 10-second delay, so when I do something stupid, I can't be memed to death.
That's impossible, to be honest.
That's a good point. Do I sound like Guerrilla Radio? Fuck. All right. I gotta figure out what to do. I'm gonna guess Saturday night, and do we want Friday or Sunday night?
I don't know. You can pick. How about that? You can pick the
All right.
days. We'll let you have
I
that.
promise Saturday night. I'll take a poll. Discord's going to get to decide whether it's Sunday night or Friday night. So there we go. All right. Do you have any announcements to make?
Well, I think we're getting to wrapping up. If anyone hasn't gone and subscribed to the YouTube, if you would do that, that would be awesome. Pretty please. Thank you.
Real quick, this is Jen. If you want a Discord link, click on Jen right now. Send her an invite for the Discord link. For those that are asking in the chat
send me
right
a
now.
message.
That's Jen. She's right there.
Yep, that's me. Me or any other mods. So, but yeah, so, way to go, guys! You did it.
Guys. Thanks.
Oh, Gorilla, eat a dick. He's so he's so dumb, you weirdo. A whole bag of them, for real.
Okay. Thanks, Jen. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye. That was tough, Gorilla. That was some tough shit talk. Oh, sorry, buddy. Look, things are gonna get better for you if you just stop being an idiot for like a day. Things will get better. All right, here's Laura Ingram. We'll finish things off here with Laura Ingram saying like the just crying some more.
People joining me now, David Schoen, former Trump impeachment attorney, Ari Fleischer, former White House press secretary, Fox News contributor. Ari, it's so obvious what's going on here. Laughing about it, laughing about the penthouse you're going to buy Rachel Maddow, and they're like, oh, isn't that funny? They're so aggrieved for democracy, but they certainly seem to be celebrating. People joining.
Yeah, I checked. It is funny. I checked. That's very funny. I think what E. Jean Carroll is doing is the reason she infuriates so many people, especially like on the right, is that the right wants, first of all, they don't want to believe women. And so they want any excuse they possibly can have to not believe women. And so no matter what she does, like if she left court and never said a word, they'd be like, where did she go? She just got her money and then she ran. And if she left court and was like, justice was served, thank you, and I'll talk to you later, they'd be like, oh, look at this, she's not even going to address the fact that she got all this money. And then now that she's getting the money, she's like, I want to do some good. And not only do I want to do some good, but I want to do good in places that will really make Donald Trump mad. I would like to donate to things that would make mad. And then jokingly said to Rachel Maddow, who's also been a target of Donald Trump's attacks, just say like, yeah, I'll buy you a penthouse. We'll all go shopping on Donald Trump. That's funny. That's legitimately funny. Unless you're in a cult, in which case it's so devastating. Like why do you Republicans demand that this woman who's like, she's been through enough, like she's been through the ringer, and even if you don't believe it, why do you demand that she act a certain way? And can you tell me how she was supposed to react? What was the right answer? What was the thing that she was going to say where Republicans wouldn't criticize her? Nothing. There was nothing she could do to not be criticized. So shout out to E. Jean Carroll, who's like, if I'm going to be criticized anyways, I'm going to talk some shit, which I love. I'm a big fan of talking shit, especially when that shit is directed at Donald Trump, who is such a thin-skinned baby and has exposed that, like, he's not the only thin-skinned baby. It's the whole GOP. It's ironic that the people calling everybody snowflakes, like, now they're offended by anything, just anything. Trans person, scary. Joe Biden sticker, scary. I hate that. I'm terrified of that. CRT, DEI, ugh. Like, these are the weakest of the weak. You're asking men who want to control women's bodies why they want to control a reaction. Good point. Excellent point. Yeah, that was a dumb question, wasn't it? Hella Tess. It's a really dumb question. Really dumb question by Taylor. Who just did that? This is how childish I am. I'm not going to read that. So weak. Yeah, the weakest. Gas prices scary. Yeah, they're so scary. Lara's making so much Botox for being terrified on behalf of the masses. Utah's making DEI illegal. Yeah, I saw that. Utah's idiots. They're going to make DEI illegal, and then they're going to promote Tim Ballard. That's Utah for you. Let's do one more story. Was there one more Comer thing? Let me make sure. I'm fine making fun of Comer one more time. Nope, I think that's it. That's it. Thank you guys today for the support. Thank you for the gifts. It means the world. Like, it is a lot of work goes into this. I thank Felice, who even when she can't make it, goes above and beyond to make sure we have stuff to cover. Continues to create content, continues to check in. So if you're friends with Felice, just tell her that you love her. If you want to follow her, it's at A Girl Has No Name. I'm not sure if you're not already following her. Most of you are following her and not me. Thank you to the mod team, specifically Jen, for putting up with me, but for my awesome moderators. They catch the crazy shit in the content or in the comments. They block inappropriate stuff really quickly. We meet once a week, and these are people who legitimately care about liberal ideas. They care about inclusion. They care about making the world a better place. They care about doing their part, and they're often coming to us with new ideas of things that they can do to not only improve the live, but improve the Discord and hopefully make an impact on these next elections. So to the mod teams, you guys are all amazing. Shoot them a message telling them thanks, but also if you need a link to the Discord. Like Jen said, the YouTube, it helps us a ton if you guys subscribe to the YouTube, if you like, if you comment on videos. We're starting to get a little traction. It's actually starting to we're starting to get some views. We're starting to get some showing up in some people's feeds that are outside of our subscribers. So thank you guys for that. Just so we're clear, like, YouTube will allow us to just provide you better content, and then we hope to be able to cross stream it here so you can watch it here or on YouTube. We don't want to leave you guys hanging and force you to switch apps, and we're working on getting a stream key for that now. But we'll be able to provide visuals. We'll be the clips that we play, instead of having to turn the microphone around and give you audio, it'll be an actual video clip. You'll watch them. The sound will be better, and hopefully it just turns into a better product for you guys. But it helps us reach more voices. So thank you guys for that. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram as well. I think that's it. I'm spent. I hope to God Felice is back tomorrow, because 3 days in a row will be hell. But I'll do it anyways. I'll do it for you. Oh, last thing. Many of you subscribed to the RTP Talks account. Some have asked if you should switch the subscription. I said hold off because I believed I was going to get that account back. It now does not appear that I'm going to get that account back. I don't think it's coming back. So if you subscribe there, I would switch your subscription here. It'll give you the access to the stuff that you actually get for subscribing. You can subscribe here on RTP Talks too. You can go over there. I think you can cancel the subscription on that one, and I don't know if it refunds it or if you wait till the end of the month. I'm not sure, but I would recommend, if you want to be a subscriber, do that here. We're always happy to have subscribers. we're always happy for more subscribers. It gives us the ability to put in more work. Eventually, if we can create a living, we're not trying to get rich off this, but if we can create a living, we can provide more content in the middle of the day, at nights. We'd love to be able to provide more content and also bring up some more some other content creators and help them grow as well. So that's the goal. Fuck everybody in the Discord for these memes right now. If you want to see me get trolled, go to the Discord. I'm getting absolutely roasted. So thank you guys. Fuck the Kansas City Chiefs. Bang, bang, Niner gang. I'll see you guys all tomorrow.